Chapter 978. As the second princess of the Azure Dragon Kingdom and the captain of the Black Tortoise Academy, Li Mengyao was very calm and not as impulsive as Lu Mingju. She thought about it and said, "Isn't this a bit dangerous? If that woman finds out, I'm afraid the consequences will be very serious." Li Tianba shook his head and said, "Your Highness, don't worry. I promise nothing will happen. Although that woman is a bit stronger than me, I'm very good at hiding my presence. As long as I'm in the dark, she won't be able to find me. Even if I'm discovered, she won't be able to stop me if I'm determined to escape." Li Mengyao thought about it and felt that Li Tianba's words made sense. It was easy to defeat a great ascension expert, but it was difficult to kill him. The reason why he was stepped on by Niu Zuehua today was because the Azure Dragon Academy students were present and he couldn't escape alone. Thinking about it, she said, "All right, you can try, but you must ensure your safety." Li Tianba said, "Don't worry, princess. I promise to kill Qin Haodong and bring back the immortal crystals for you." With that, his figure flashed and quickly disappeared from the room. Li Tianba stealthily arrived at He Zhanghai's general's residence. Although this place was heavily guarded, the majority of the guards were soul formation cultivators. The difference in cultivation level between him and them was too great, so they couldn't detect his presence at all. After entering the mansion, he slowly found the place where Qin Haodong and the others lived. This was the back courtyard of the general's mansion. It was located in a remote corner and was the best place to make a move. Li Tianba's primordial spirit swept the room and saw Qin Haodong, Niu Zuehua, and Tu Jiaojiao sitting together, drinking and celebrating. Because Niu Zuehua was next to them, he didn't dare to make a move and could only hide in the corner and wait for the opportunity. Originally, time was nothing to cultivators, but the wine and dishes in the room were too fragrant. The rich aroma made him keep swallowing his saliva. Although he wasn't as addicted to wine as Luo Dongqing, he was still drooling over good wine. Where did this kid find such good wine? How could it be so fragrant? He must get some later to taste it. After everyone ate and drank their fill, Qin Haodong arranged for them to go back to rest. The girls of the Black Tortoise Academy lived together. Niu Zuehua and He Ziwei lived in the same room. Since Qin Haodong was the only man, he returned to his room alone. Li Tianba was overjoyed. The opportunity to strike had finally come. He quietly followed behind, waiting for Qin Haodong to fall asleep. But after waiting for a long time, Qin Haodong just sat at the table and read. He had no intention of sleeping at all. Could it be that this kid wanted to watch it for the whole night? Li Tianba was a little anxious. He was considering whether or not he should take action now. At this time, he saw Qin Haodong in the room smiling at him. "Aren't you going to hurry up? If you don't do it, I'm going to sleep." Li Tianba was slightly startled. This brat had actually already discovered him. Since he had been discovered, he stopped hiding and directly appeared in front of Qin Haodong. At such a close distance, he was confident that he could slap this kid to death before Niu Zuehua appeared. Qin Haodong said with a playful face, "Presidently, what are you doing here so late? Don't tell me it's because I can't sleep." Li Tianba said, "No one can humiliate our Black Tortoise royal family, we are still alive and well. Quickly hand over Her Highness immortal crystal." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Then what? You won't kill me if I give you the thing? Dream on. You must die today, but I can leave your body intact so that you can die a little faster." Qin Haodong said, "Yes, I can let you die a little faster because of this. But whether you can leave your body intact depends on your performance. Kid, what tricks are you playing?" Qin Haodong was so calm in front of him, which made Li Tianba feel a little uncertain. He didn't know where Qin Haodong's confidence came from. "What, are you afraid? If you are afraid, kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times, then get out of here. I'll pretend that nothing happened today." "Kid, do you think that woman can save you? Now even the gods can't save you." Li Tianba lost his patience. He thought that Qin Haodong was bluffing, so he raised his hand and slapped. His palms seemed to be silent, but he had already used all his strength without the slightest carelessness. In his opinion, Qin Haodong, who was only at the form synthesis stage, was absolutely unable to resist it. He would definitely die with this move. But when his palm was about to hit Qin Haodong, the scene in front of him suddenly changed. Qin Haodong disappeared, and what appeared in front of him was Niu Zuehua, who looked angry. Li Tianba was shocked. What was going on? Where did he go? But the angry Niu Zuehua didn't give him enough time to think. She raised her hand and smashed it. Li Tianba's strength was originally not as good as Niu Zuehua's, and he was also injured during the day. After the two palms collided, he was immediately hit backward like a cannonball, directly smashing a human-shaped hole in the wall, and then a big mouthful of blood. Although Li Tianba didn't know how Niu Zuehua appeared, he couldn't care less at this time. There was only one thought in his mind, which was to run. Now he had to escape as fast as possible, or this abnormal woman in front of him would definitely kill him. But Niu Zuehua didn't give him the chance at all. She followed behind him like a shadow, and the nether ghost claw struck again. Li Tianba couldn't avoid it. He could only fight with Lu Zuehua again, and the price was that he spat out 2 more mouthfuls of blood. But he also flew tens of meters away with the force of the shock, turned into a shadow, and fled out of the general's mansion. Just as he said, it was easy to hurt a master of the Desheng stage, but it was difficult to kill him. Although there was a restriction on flying in the Vermilion Bird Royal City, his speed of escape was also very fast. And at this moment, on a roof not far away, Qin Haodong stood there, with a huge anti-material sniper in front of him. Sniper rifle. It was a gun. This was all part of his plan. He had long since prepared an anti-material sniper. The sniper rifle was placed here, and even the bullets were loaded, and then he let Lu Zuehua guard here. When Li Tianba made a move on him, he immediately used the Chiman displacement technique and exchanged positions with Niu Zuehua. At the same time, the role between him and Li Tianba was also swapped, from the hunted to the hunter. Just as Li Tianba was about to run away, a muffled sound rang out. Following that, he felt a sharp pain in his left leg and fell to the ground. His kneecap had actually been broken. If he hadn't been seriously injured, if he hadn't been in a hurry to escape, the anti-material sniper would have even a sniper rifle would not be able to break through his protective Zhen-Qi so smoothly. But there was no if in everything. Everything was under Qin Haodong's control. The last master of the Desheng stage, Zhang Sun Qingsheng, died like this. Seeing that Niu Zuehua had already caught up to him, Li Tianba couldn't be bothered to look for the enemy hiding in the dark anymore. Once again, he recklessly fled out of the general's residence. But just as he moved his second leg, there was another muffled bang. The calf bone of his right leg was also forcibly broken. Li Tianba turned pale with fright. Just what in the world was this thing? It was so powerful that it could cripple both of his legs without making a sound. But before he could figure it out, there was another muffled bang, and then his head exploded like a watermelon. Red blood and white brain matter flowed all over the ground. The deputy dean of the Azure Dragon College, a dignified master of the Desheng stage, had lost his life in such a muddle-headed way. At this time, Niu Zuehua came to his side. According to Qin Haodong's plan, she quickly spat out a Dan fire and turned Li Tianba's body into ashes. Not even a drop of blood flowed, as if this person had never appeared. From Li Tianba's attack to Qin Haodong's complete obliteration, the whole process was less than 30 seconds. Everything happened incredibly fast. Qin Haodong quickly put away the anti-material sniper rifle. He jumped off the roof and came to Niu Zuehua's side. At this time, the guards in the residence also moved. He Zhanghai rushed over with the servants, followed by He Ziwei, Murong Jinghong, Tu Jiaojiao, and the others. Looking at Qin Haodong's damaged house, He Zhanghai asked, "What's going on?" Qin Haodong said, "Nothing, it seems that a thief just came." He Zhanghai said, "A thief? Someone dared to steal from my house. Where is he now?" Qin Haodong said, "This guy was too fast. After I found him, he directly broke through the wall." When I chased after him, he had already disappeared. He Zhanghai ordered his butler, hurry up and search. We must find this thief. The butler agreed and immediately began to search the house with the servants. However, after searching for a long time, they couldn't find a shadow. Qin Haodong said, General I think this person must have escaped. In fact, he is just a little thief. You don't have to worry about him. He Zhanghai said, well, everyone go back and rest. He also told the butler, tell the people to strengthen the defense. We can't let any more thieves in. Everything passed like this. Back in the room, the little she-devil grabbed Qin Haodong and said, little brother, tell us, what did you do behind our backs? Nothing. I told you, it's just a thief. Although everyone present was trustworthy, there was no need for them to worry about this kind of thing, so Qin Haodong chose not to say it. The little she-devil curled her lips and said, it would be strange if I believed you. The other girls also had some doubts, but since Qin Haodong didn't say it, they didn't ask any more and went back to rest. After everyone left, Niu Zuihua ran to Qin Haodong's room and whispered in his ear, husband, your plan is really exquisite. You killed the deputy dean of the Azure Dragon Kingdom so easily. Qin Haodong said, it's mainly because of your help. Otherwise, no matter how exquisite the plan is, it would be useless. So you are the greatest hero. Niu Zuihua took his arm and pressed her full chest on his shoulder. She said coquettishly, is there any reward? Qin Haodong felt strange when he thought that the dignified first elder of the Ghost King's sect was coquettishly to him. He said awkwardly, what reward do you want? Niu Zuihua blushed. She said, I want you to treat me well. Well. Am I not good to you? Of course, Qin Haodong understood what she meant, but he didn't dare to do anything to the first elder of the Ghost King sect. If the first elder's memory was awakened at that critical moment, his life and his penis would be in danger. He felt a chill on his back just thinking about it. No. No, I didn't mean that. Husband is very good to me. Niu Zuihua said in a low voice, but you are my husband. Shouldn't we sleep together at night? Chapter 979. Qin Haodong said, well. I can't do that for the time being. Why? Do you not like me anymore? Or did I do something wrong to make you unhappy? Niu Zuihua said eagerly. No, I've always liked you, and you've done a good job. Qin Haodong licked his dry lips, thought for a moment and said, have you ever heard of an old saying that a marriage without the blessing of the family is not a happy one? Now we're in a deadlock with your family, especially your brother who wants to kill me all the time, so it's not appropriate for us to sleep together now. Niu Zuihua said, but I don't care. I can break off relations with them for you. In her mind, her impression of her brother and family was limited to Qin Haodong's description. There was no emotional basis, so she didn't care about it. How can you do that? Anyway, they're your family. Qin Haodong put on a serious expression and said, since I chose you, I have to give you the best. I can't let you suffer any grievances with me. Niu Zuihua said, but what if they don't like you? I'll find a way. I've thought it through. As long as my cultivation can reach the Desheng stage, even if I'm a little poor, they will look at me with admiration. Then I can propose to them and let them marry you legitimately. But, how long will that take? Niu Zuihua said eagerly. For an ordinary cultivator, it would take decades of cultivation to reach the Desheng stage from the form synthesis stage. Even some people, due to limited cultivation resources and talent, could not step into the Desheng stage in their lifetime. Don't worry. You see, I've reached the early stage of form synthesis at the age of 20, and I've got that immortal crystal. I'll reach the middle stage of form synthesis soon. I'm only 2 levels away from the Desheng stage. Qin Haodong stared at Niu Zuihua and said, if 2 people love each other for a long time, they won't be together day and night. Don't you want to wait for me? In order to stabilize the first elder of the Ghost King sect in front of him, he even used Master Xing's words of love. No, I can wait for you as long as it takes. Nyotsuewa's eyes lit up as she said, husband, your words are really nice to hear. If two people love each other for a long time, why would they be together day and night? But there are so many girls around you, and every one of them is so beautiful and outstanding. I'm afraid that one day you'll suddenly ignore them. Qin Haodong said, how is that possible? No one can ever replace your place in my heart. Even if I die, I will remember my love for you in my heart. As someone from the Lingwu continent, he had never heard such sweet words of love before. Nyotsuhua felt that her heart had been completely filled with happiness. She said affectionately, husband, really? You're not lying to me, right? Why would I lie to you? If you don't believe me, then dig out my heart. Qin Haodong felt a little guilty. He didn't know if Master Xing would come to collect copyright fees after seeing his performance. Husband, you are too good to me. I will never leave you. Nyotsuehua blushed. Her cheeks were so red that it seemed that blood was about to drip out. She said shyly, husband, I can wait for you as long as it takes. Can you kiss me now? Qin Haodong had no choice but to fight. He put his arms around Nyotsuehua's slender waist and kissed her hard. After a long time, they slowly separated. Nyotsuehua said happily, husband, I'll go back to rest first. You should go to bed early too. Then she left reluctantly. Looking at her graceful back and thinking of the kiss just now, Qin Haodong felt that he was not playing with fire, but playing with a super nuclear bomb. Once the first elder of the Ghost King's sect regained his memory, would he directly burn him to ashes like he did to Li Tianba? But it was not the time to think about that. He could only take it one step at a time. After Nyotsuehua left, he summoned the three-legged golden toad from the spirit beast bag and checked its injury. The three-legged golden toad had the blood of the dragon clan, so its defense and self-healing ability were very strong. Although it had been injured by Li Tianba, it had completely recovered. It seemed that as long as this guy did not lose a lot of blood, a little injury would not be a problem. He put the three-legged golden toad back into the spirit beast bag and took out the fairy crystal. Since he had dealt with Li Tianba, the top priority was to improve his cultivation. He set up several magic formations in the room, then sat cross-legged with the fairy crystal in his hand and began to slowly absorb the immortal qi in it. Compared with the top-grade crystal, the spiritual qi contained in the fairy crystal was too huge and too pure. It was enough to be equivalent to hundreds of top-grade spirit stones, and it was faster to absorb. Qin Haodong felt that the overwhelming spiritual qi was merging into his body. The genuine qi in his body was becoming stronger every second, and his cultivation was rising rapidly. Finally, there was a slight click in his mind. He broke through the bottleneck of the early stage of body integration and reached the middle stage of body integration. At the same time, the fairy crystal in his hand also turned into nothingness, leaving not even a trace of residue. He opened his eyes and felt the power in his body. He secretly sighed, what a good thing. A low-grade fairy crystal actually improved my cultivation by a lot. It seems that besides the spirit spring of the four kingdoms, if I can find more fairy crystals, I can also improve my cultivation quickly. However, the fairy crystal had always been a treasure that could only be found by luck. Li Menyao's fairy crystal was also obtained from an ancient relic. It was unknown how long it would take to find it again. The next day, after breakfast, Luo Dongqing came to the general's mansion reeking of alcohol. After explaining the situation, the housekeeper brought him to Qin Haodong and the others. Seeing Luo Dongqing enter the door, the little she-devil went up and grabbed his beard. Yesterday, we were almost killed by the deputy dean of the Azure Dragon Kingdom. As the leader, where did you go? Stupid girl, let go of me. If you have something to say, let's talk. It hurts so much. I won't let go. I won't let go. Who told you to sneak out to drink? When I get back, I will tell Grandma to punish you. Seeing the grandfather and granddaughter, the others couldn't help but laugh. Although Luo Dongqing was a great ascension stage expert, he couldn't do anything to his granddaughter. He could only look at Qin Haodong for help. Qin Haodong said, all right, it's all in the past. Let go of Dean Luo first. Humph, seeing that Big Brother pleaded for you, I will let you go this time. If there's a next time, I will pull out all your beard. The little she-devil angrily let go of Luo Dongqing. Luo Dongqing tidied up his beard and said a little awkwardly, Little Qin, I didn't expect you to run to the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Also, what happened yesterday? Qin Haodong gave a brief account of what had happened to him. Then, he told her about the encounter with the Azure Dragon Academy yesterday from beginning to end. As soon as he finished, the little she-devil said, Stupid old man, look at the dean of the academy. He was following behind to protect the students. Where did you run off to? Thinking about how Qin Haodong almost died at the hands of Li Tianba yesterday, her heart was filled with anger. This. Luo Dongqing said a little awkwardly, I went around the surrounding mountains yesterday and happened to encounter the monkey wine brewed by the red-eyed spirit monkeys. While those monkeys weren't there, I secretly drank some. I didn't expect that the wine's after effect was so strong that I was drunk. The little she-devil said angrily, You unreliable old man, when I go back, I will definitely tell Grandma to quit drinking. Luo Dongqing hurriedly said, My good granddaughter, please don't. Grandpa promises that it will only happen this time. It will never happen again. At most, I will go to the Azure Dragon Academy to find Li Tianba and avenge you. The little she-devil snorted and didn't speak again. Luo Dongqing said again, Actually, it's not my fault. It's all little Qin's fault. After he disappeared, I drank all my wine. Otherwise, why would I fight with a group of monkeys for wine? After that, he said to Qin Haodong, Hurry up and get some more wine for the old man. My mouth has been bland these days. Thinking of the old man risking his life to protect him in the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring, Qin Haodong was very moved. He waved his hand and took out 10 boxes of wuliangya from the ring and gave them to him. Great, finally there's wine to drink. Luo Dongqing hurriedly put away the wine, as if he was afraid that it would be taken away. The little she-devil said, Old man, what are you doing here? You're not here to ask for wine from me, are you? Look at what you're saying. Of course I have business. Luo Dongqing said, Tomorrow is the day of the Four Kingdoms competition. Just now, the chief steward of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom informed me that we should have a meeting to discuss the rules of tomorrow's competition. Qin Haodong said, Haven't the rules of the competition been set in advance? Luo Dongqing said, That's not necessarily true. Every year, the rules are the same, but sometimes there will be some changes. Qin Haodong said, Are all of us going? The requirement is that the leading teacher and the captain must be present. The others are free to go. Luo Dongqing said, Now that you're back, you'll be the captain this time. Don't think about being lazy. Qin Haodong nodded. With his ability, he deserved to be the captain of the Black Tortoise Academy. Let's go. Let's go together now. Luo Dongqing said and led the way. The others had nothing to do, so they followed Qin Haodong and left the general's mansion. The meeting place was the Royal Martial Arts Field of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, which was also the venue of tomorrow's competition. As soon as they arrived, they saw Li Mengyao coming over with the people of the Azure Dragon Academy. Li Mengyao and the others waited at their residence until dawn, but Li Tianba didn't come back. The Vermilion Bird Kingdom had informed everyone to come for a meeting. There was no other way, she could only lead the team as the captain. Lu Mingju said, Your Highness, do you think something happened to the vice president? Li Mengyao frowned and said, I'm also worried about that, but the vice president is a master of the Desheng stage. Even if he encountered a strong enemy, he could run away. He wouldn't disappear so silently. Pang Ban said, But he hasn't come back yet. Where can he go? Li Mengyao said with a heavy expression, I don't know. Normally, President Li is a person who focuses on the overall situation. He wouldn't easily miss today's meeting. At this time, Lu Mingju pointed to the front and said, Your Highness, look, the people of the Black Tortoise Academy. Everyone looked in the direction of her finger. Zhao Long said, nothing happened to the boy surnamed Qin. Could it be that Dean Li failed? Lu Mingzhu said, even if the assassination failed, President Li should come back to us. He wouldn't disappear so silently. Li Mengyao said, let's go and ask. Maybe we can get some clues from the Black Tortoise Academy. After that, she led everyone straight to Qin Haodong and asked with a sullen face, Qin Haodong, do you know where our President Li went? Chapter 980. Qin Haodong stopped and said with a teasing face, you lost President Li? Even if you can't find him, you shouldn't look for me. You should go to the red light district. I knew that old man wasn't a good person. Maybe he's sleeping on a woman's belly. You are talking nonsense. Li Mengyao was so angry that her face was red. Red. Lu Mingzhu shouted, Qin Haodong, don't play dumb. What did you do last night? How am I playing dumb? I'm really stupid. Your President Li is lost and you all come here to ask me. What are you going to do? Qin Haodong then said, but I always answer your questions. Since you all ask, I'll give you an answer. I have so many beautiful girlfriends. What can I do at night? You can guess it even with your heels, right? After he said this, the girls behind him first burst into laughter, and then became even more bashful. They looked shy and charming, with a myriad of postures. Lu Mingzhu saw that she was being teased and shouted angrily, you pervert. Shameless. Qin Haodong said with a teasing face, how am I a pervert? I didn't take advantage of you. Beautiful women like you don't even bother to look at me. Bastard, I'll kill you. Lu Mingzhu was about to attack but was stopped by Li Mengyao. She glared at Qin Haodong. She knew that she was no match for him, so she endured it. Li Mengyao said to Qin Haodong, I'll ask you again. Are you sure you haven't seen our President Li? Qin Haodong took 2 steps forward and stared at her. Interesting. Did you people from Azure Dragon region take the wrong medicine? Why do you all come to me after losing him? Why do I have to see him? Could it be that you people think that I'm too strong and will affect your results in this exchange, so you want to get rid of me in advance? Or is it that you lost that immortal crystal and President Li can't bear to let it go, so you want to take it back from me? This, Li Mengyao didn't expect Qin Haodong to tell the truth. However, this was related to the honor of Azure Dragon Kingdom. Of course, she couldn't admit it. How is that possible? President Li is a gentleman. How can he be as dirty as you think? I'm just asking casually. Qin Haodong smiled and said, a gentleman? I hope so. Cough. 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 Luo Dongqing, the vice principal, felt very embarrassed when she was ignored. Although she was a little small, she couldn't just pretend that she didn't see it. He stepped forward and said, Second Princess, what's going on? Did Li Tianba disappear? Li Mengyao had just participated in the exchange last year, so she naturally knew the vice dean of the Black Tortoise Academy. She said, Dean Li went out to handle some matters yesterday, who knew that he still hasn't returned. I was just a little worried, so I casually asked. This guy is even more unreliable than me. He's not even here at such an important time. Luo Dongqing seemed to be mumbling to herself, but at the same time, it seemed like she was talking to Li Mengyao. Then he said, okay, everyone, let's go in for the meeting. Li Mengyao knew that she couldn't get anything out of him, so she brought her people and walked into the venue first. Just as Luo Dongqing was about to follow him in, someone called out from behind, Old man Luo, wait a minute. We've met an old friend. We should at least greet him. Everyone looked towards the direction of the voice, and saw a tall old man walking over. Behind him were 7 members dressed in white. The people who came were from the White Tiger Academy. The old man in the lead was the Academy's vice dean, Song Tian. At the same time, in another direction, a middle-aged woman dressed in red walked over. Behind her was a member dressed in red. They were people from the Vermilion Bird Academy. The one in the lead was the vice dean, Lu Xiaofu. Song Tian's face was full of smiles, but it looked exceptionally fake to others. He strode in front of Luo Dongqing, extended his hand and said, "Old man Luo, we haven't seen each other for a year, right? I wonder if you, old man, have made any progress?" Luo Dongqing extended his hand and shook it. "It's all right. No matter what, I'm still more promising than you." "Is that so?" "The Black Tortoise Academy is always the last place every year. I really don't know where your promising comes from." Song Tian didn't look friendly either. On the contrary, he always ridiculed the Black Tortoise Academy for fun. This time, he came over to properly ridicule Luo Dongqing. At the same time, his extended right hand surged with true qi, and his strength increased continuously. He wanted to make a fool of Luo Dongqing. When they came to participate in the exchange last year, Luo Dongqing and Song Tian were both at the peak of the form synthesis stage. In comparison, Song Tian's cultivation was more profound. But he didn't expect that after a year, with Qin Haodong's help, Luo Dongqing had already stepped into the great vehicle stage. How could he still provoke him? Although true power surged out crazily, it was like a clay ox entering the sea. There was no reaction. On the contrary, he felt that the pressure was increasing. Luo Dongqing naturally knew what the other party wanted to do. With a smile on his face, he firmly suppressed the other party. Feeling the other party's strength, Song Tian turned pale with fright. You've actually entered the great vehicle stage?" Luo Dongqing laughed. "Of course. How can I be as useless as you? How many years has it been without any progress?" At this time, the pressure on Song Tian's hand was increasing, as if his bones were about to be crushed. He hurriedly shouted with a red face, "All right, old man Luo, quickly let go." Qin Haodong looked at them and found it funny. The two old men with big eyebrows and beards were actually playing such a low IQ game. Luo Dongqing had been tightly controlled by Song Tian all these years. Today, he finally found a chance to take revenge. Naturally, he would not let go easily. He squeezed twice more and let go when he saw that the other party was about to collapse. Song Tian desperately shook his hand and kept using true qi to relieve the pain from his hand. Luo Dongqing laughed and said, "Old man Song, you're really useless. Among the leaders of our 4 academies, you're the only one who hasn't reached the great vehicle stage. Don't you feel ashamed?" A flash of embarrassment flashed across Song Tian's face, and then he said, "Old man Luo, don't be complacent. Even if you've reached the great vehicle stage, what can you do? You can't represent the academy in the competition. Your Black Tortoise Academy will still be at the bottom of this exchange meeting. Don't forget that you didn't win a game at last year's exchange meeting." Luo Dongqing said, "Old man Song, you think too much. Let me tell you, today's Black Tortoise Academy is not what it used to be. Our goal this time is to win the championship." He was now full of confidence. Yesterday, Qin Haodong and the others had defeated the strongest Azure Dragon Academy. It would not be difficult to win the championship. "Ha ha ha, are you still asleep?" Song Tian laughed disdainfully and said, "In so many years of the 4 academies exchange meeting, Azure Dragon Academy has won first place, White Tiger Academy has won first place, and Vermilion Bird Academy has won first place. Only your Black Tortoise Academy is the weakest every time. When is it your turn to win the championship? You're talking nonsense." Luo Dongqing said angrily, "Old man Song, today's Black Tortoise Academy is not what it used to be. When the game comes, you'll know how powerful it is." At this time, Lu Xiaofu, who had been standing next to them, said in a cold voice, "Have you two had enough? If you have, go in and get down to business." She had always been cold and arrogant, and she did not take Luo Dongqing's words seriously. In the past, Black Tortoise Academy had always been the weakest, but now they were shouting that they wanted to win the championship. In her eyes, it was a joke. Everyone walked into the conference room together. The inside was already prepared, and the seats were divided according to the nameplates of the 4 academies. After sitting down, Qin Haodong began to size up the students of the other academies. There was no need to talk about Azure Dragon Academy. They had already fought against each other, and their strength could not be more clear. However, he quickly discovered that Azure Dragon Academy was not the strongest among this year's team members. There were actually 4 people in White Tiger Academy who had reached the middle stage of body integration, and the team leader was actually showing signs of breaking through to the late stage of body integration. No wonder Song Tian was so confident. It turned out that this year's students were indeed super strong. Even the Vermilion Bird Academy next to him had 3 middle stage body integration. The team leader was an extremely cold and elegant beauty, and her temperament was almost the same as Lu Xiaofu. Interesting. The corner of his mouth rose into a smile. It seemed that this exchange meeting between the 4 academies was destined to not be ordinary. If Azure Dragon Academy took the last place, he wondered what expression Li Mengyao would have. His Royal Highness has arrived. Following the eunuch's shrill shout, a handsome young man walked in from outside. He was the host of the 4 countries exchange, the eldest prince of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, Lu Hong. Behind him was the head steward of the royal palace, Fang Desheng. Although he looked to be only around 30 years old, Lu Hong's temperament was extremely mature and steady. After sitting on the stage, he swept his gaze across the crowd below with a smile, and then said, "Welcome to the teachers and students of the various academies for participating in this exchange meeting. The exchange meeting of our 4 academies has always been based on the purpose of exchange and learning. Through exchange, we can improve the teaching level of each academy and the learning ability of the students." After saying some pompous pleasantries, he went straight to the point and said, "The reason I called everyone here today is to discuss the matters of the competition of the exchange meeting, and to see if we need to make any reasonable changes to the rules of our previous exchange meetings." Speaking up to here, he turned his gaze towards the champion of the last exchange meeting, Azure Dragon Academy. When he saw that there was only Li Mengyao and the other students, he was slightly surprised and said, "Dean Li of Azure Dragon Academy didn't come?" Li Mengyao said, "Your Royal Highness, Dean Li has something to do and can't come. Today's matter will be under my full authority." "That's fine." Lu Hong said, "Your Royal Highness, then can you talk about Azure Dragon Academy's opinion? Do you think there are any areas in our competition that need to be improved?" Normally speaking, this kind of pre-competition meeting was just a routine procedure. No one would really raise any objections. It had always been like this in the past. Out of everyone's expectations, Li Mengyao said, "Your Royal Highness, I do feel that there are some rules that need to be changed." A hint of surprise flashed in Lu Hong's eyes, and then he said with great interest, "Tell me, what does the second princess think needs to be changed?" Li Mengyao said, "Just now, Your Royal Highness has already said that the main purpose of our exchange meeting is to exchange and learn. Therefore, I feel that during the competition, we should display the true strength of every member. We shouldn't use external objects like magical beasts. I suggest that during the competition, everyone should use their true strength to compete and find out what they are lacking in terms of cultivation. If it's possible, I'll make it clear that I won't use my spiritual beast, Thunder Leopard, during the competition." After saying that, she summoned the Thunder Leopard with a thought. After this guy came out, he vigilantly scanned the surroundings. After confirming that there wasn't any 3-legged gold toad, he arrogantly raised his head and let out a long roar towards the sky. Chapter 981. Feeling Lei Bao's might, the crowd immediately broke out into discussion. "Gosh, this is a 7th grade magical beast, Thunder Leopard. It's so powerful that it can be regarded as an expert at the peak of the form synthesis stage. Her Royal Highness the Second Princess actually took the initiative to give up such a powerful magical beast. How noble. The Azure Dragon Academy isn't using magical beasts. Looks like we have hope of getting first place this year," the eldest prince said. "Her Royal Highness the Second Princess is willing to give up such a powerful magical beast to train with everyone. This kind of magnanimity is indeed very rare. It's worth learning from us." Although they didn't understand Li Mengyao's motive for doing this, but with such a powerful opponent gone, the students from the other academies were extremely happy. Song Tian said, "Our White Tiger Academy fully supports the second princess' suggestion to not use magical beasts in the tournament." The ice-cold Lu Xiaofu also followed and said, "Vermilion Bird Academy supports the second princess' proposal." After he finished speaking, everyone's eyes gathered on the Black Tortoise region's side. The little she-devil whispered in Qin Haodong's ear, "Little brother, that woman is tricking you." Only the students of the Black Tortoise Academy knew what Li Mengyau's purpose was. The reason why she proposed this rule was to restrict Qin Haodong's three-legged golden toad. One must know that with the ability of the three-legged golden toad, it could completely crush her thunder leopard. If they did not send a Great Ascension Stage Master to participate, the overall champion would definitely be the Black Tortoise Academy. It was because of this that Li Mengyao pretended to be high and mighty, but she was actually trying to trip up Black Tortoise Academy. Although they had already lost to the Black Tortoise region, as long as they won the other two academies and the Black Tortoise region lost the remaining two matches, they still had a chance to win the championship. Luo Dongqing naturally saw through the other party's scheme and said, "Our Black Tortoise Academy does not agree. Spirit beasts are also a part of the student's strength. In a battle against an enemy, if the enemy's spirit beast was powerful, it would still be able to crush you. I suggest continuing with the previous playstyle. There's no need to make any changes." As soon as he finished speaking, Song Tian said sarcastically, "Old man Luo, what does this have to do with you? No matter how you compete, your Black Tortoise Academy will be at the bottom in the end. If you don't have any spirit beasts, you can still lose in a better way." Lu Xiaofu said straightforwardly, "Since someone disagrees, let's vote." According to the rules of the four great academies exchange, if there was a difference of opinion, it would be decided by a vote. All four academies had the right to vote, and the host had a total of 5 votes. The one with the most votes would win. Li Mengyao looked at Qin Haodong with a smug smile on her face. All she had to do was bring it up. She didn't even need to say a word to determine the result. Lu Hong said, "In that case, let's vote. Those who agree, please raise your hand." After saying that, he raised his right hand, followed by Li Mengyao, Lu Xiaofu, and Song Tian. Only Luo Dongqing was left sitting there. Lu Hong put down his hand and said, "4 votes in favor and 1 against. I declare that the use of spirit beasts is prohibited in tomorrow's competition. Otherwise, you will be judged to have lost." The little she-devil said angrily, "Shameless thing, it's so infuriating." Qin Haodong didn't take it seriously and said, "Don't be angry. Just beat them up in the game." Now that he had broken through to the mid-body integration stage, he had enough confidence in himself. Lu Hong said, "The second princess's suggestion just now is very good. Does anyone have any other suggestions?" Li Mengyao said again, "I think we should make some changes to the order of the competition. In the previous competition, the first place would fight against the fourth place. I don't think this is good. The difference in strength is too great, and it's not fair to the fourth place. Therefore, I suggest we change the competition to drawing lots. This way, we can better ensure the fairness of the exchange competition." After she said this, the White Tiger and Vermilion Bird Academies were ecstatic. After all, the Black Tortoise Academy was famous for being weak. Everyone wanted to fight against them in the first round. This way, they could save their strength to the greatest extent and win the later rounds. However, according to the rules of the previous competition, this kind of good thing was taken by the Azure Dragon Academy. Now that Li Mengyao took the initiative to give it up, how could they refuse? Tu Jiaojiao said in Qin Haodong's ear, "Junior, this woman is very scheming. This way, we can avoid the embarrassment of fighting against us in the first round and admitting defeat." Qin Haodong smiled and said, "Actually, it doesn't matter. In the end, the deciding factor is strength. Sooner or later, they will have to lower their heads and admit defeat to us." After some discussion and voting, Li Mengyao's proposal was once again passed. After so many years of the exchange competition, the competition system was already very mature. Changing 2 rules in a row was already a big move. Other than that, there were no other changes. After discussing for a while, the pre-competition meeting ended. After walking out of the door, the little she-devil said angrily, "Li Mengyao is too hateful. She knows how powerful the three-legged golden toad is, so she forbade us from using our magical beasts." Yun Xianxian followed and said, "The most hateful thing is that she makes it seem like she has a great style. In fact, we are the ones who suffer the most." Luo Dongqing said with some worry, "Kid, if you are not allowed to use the three-legged golden toad, do you still have the confidence to win this competition?" He understood the process of the battle between the Black Tortoise Academy and the Azure Dragon Academy. In the end, they won by relying on the three-legged golden toad. Qin Haodong said, "Don't worry, Dean. The overall champion of this exchange competition will definitely belong to the Black Tortoise Academy. Later, I will go back and help everyone increase their cultivation. We will give them a surprise in the competition tomorrow." Returning to He Zhanghai's general residence, Niu Zuehua and He Ziwei were like little wives waiting for their husbands to return. "Husband, you're back. Master, you're back." Qin Haodong nodded and said to He Ziwei, "Can you prepare a quiet room for us to cultivate in?" He Ziwei said, "No problem." There were many quiet rooms for cultivation in the general's residence. He Ziwei chose the largest one and let everyone in. Qin Haodong asked everyone to sit there and adjust their state. Then, he returned to his own room and refined a batch of dragon power pills. He had now reached the form synthesis stage, so he did not need to take the explosive yuan pill to refine the dragon power pill. Soon, he returned to the practice room with the pills. At the same time, he called Niu Zuehua and He Ziwei over. Other than Niu Zuehua, who had reached the Desheng stage, Qin Haodong gave each girl a dragon power pill and asked them to take it to start increasing their cultivation. The dragon power pill required dragon saliva as the main ingredient, and at the same time, it also required a 7th-grade alchemist to refine, so it was rare in the entire Lingwu continent. This kind of pill could increase the cultivation of a form synthesis stage cultivator by 1 level, but the interval between 2 pills must be more than a month, otherwise it would be ineffective. It had been more than a month since Tu Jiaojiao, Murong Jinghong and the others last took the dragon power pill, and there was no problem with the effect. However, for cultivators, if they increased their cultivation too quickly, it was easy to breed inner demons and cause qi deviation. Soon after these people took the dragon power pill, they began to have illusions. Some of them had smiles on their faces, some had panic on their faces, and some even shouted loudly. Only He Ziwei, who had taken the dragon power pill for the first time, did not seem to have much of a reaction. Although Niu Zuehua had lost her memory, she still knew the basic knowledge of martial arts. She hurriedly said, "If we help them increase their cultivation like this, it will be very easy for them to suffer qi deviation. We have to stop quickly. Don't worry, I've already prepared." Qin Haodong said, and with a thought, he took out the magic staff. He took out the magic staff. After getting the staff, he gently shook it, and the 12 golden rings made a jingling sound. The sound was like the sound of Buddha, which was very pleasant to the ear. At the same time, it calmed everyone's mind, and the inner demons that were bothering them suddenly disappeared. Without the inner demons, the expressions of Tu Jiaojiao and the others slowly calmed down. The genuine qi in their bodies became more and more powerful, and they began to break through the next bottleneck. Niu Zuehua asked in surprise, "Husband, what is this? How can it have such a magical effect?" Qin Haodong said, "It's a treasure I obtained by chance." He did not say much. He was very conflicted about Niu Zuehua. He trusted her, but at the same time, he was afraid that she would awaken her memory and become his enemy. As time passed, He Ziwei was the first to break through to the middle stage of the form synthesis stage, followed by Tu Jiaojiao and Murong Jinghong. According to Qin Haodong's instructions, they did not rush to get up, but sat there and continued to stabilize their cultivation. The weakest among them were Yun Xianxian and Fang Qiong, who took the longest time to break through from the peak of the void training stage to the early stage of the form synthesis stage. When they broke through the bottleneck of the form synthesis stage, Qin Haodong gave a dragon power pill to each of them and said softly, "Don't stop, continue to break through to the next level." Generally speaking, after breaking through a big level, it was necessary to stabilize the cultivation and seek another breakthrough after a period of time. Because of their trust in Qin Haodong, the two girls did not hesitate to mobilize the genuine qi in their bodies again and began to break through the bottleneck of the middle stage of the form synthesis stage. Qin Haodong turned around and said to Nyotsuehua, "Cooperate with me, let's help them together." When he was in the cultivation world, he had obtained a method to help people at the early stage of the form synthesis stage to improve their cultivation, but he needed to reach the great vehicle stage to use it. His current cultivation was not enough, so he needed Nyotsuehua's help. According to Qin Haodong's instructions, Nyotsuehua put her right hand on his Mingmen acupoint, and then slowly transferred the genuine qi in her body to him. Qin Haodong was originally a cultivator at the tribulation stage, so there was no threshold in his cultivation. After receiving the endless genuine qi from Nyotsuehua, his cultivation quickly improved and soon reached the great vehicle stage. He took a deep breath and pointed his right hand at Yun Xianxian's dantian, and began to help her break through with the greenwood genuine qi. The greenwood genuine qi was extremely powerful, and at the same time, it could nourish the body and expand the meridians. After entering Yun Xianxian's body, it was like a vanguard, quickly shuttling through the meridians, leading Yun Xianxian's genuine qi to break through. About an hour later, Yun Xianxian's momentum suddenly rose, and there was a loud bang in her head. Her cultivation had broken through the threshold of the middle stage of the form synthesis stage. Qin Haodong took a deep breath, turned around and asked Nyotsuehua, "Can you go on?" This kind of cross-body transfer consumed a lot of genuine qi, but Nyotsuehua still said, "No problem, I can still go on." At this time, in her heart, Qin Haodong was the sky. As long as her husband asked her to do something, she would do it without hesitation. Qin Haodong adjusted his genuine qi, and then pointed his right index finger at Fang Qiong-er's dantian again. After another hour, Fang Qiong-er also successfully broke through to the middle stage of the form synthesis stage. Nyotsuehua and Qin Haodong had used up a lot of their energy to improve their cultivation, so they sat on the ground side by side and began to run their genuine qi to restore their cultivation. The next morning, Qin Haodong and the others recovered from their cultivation. Except for Nyotsuehua, everyone had reached the middle stage of the form synthesis stage. Chapter 982. Thank you, little brother. You are so great. The little she-devil said as she hugged Qin Haodong's neck and kissed him on the cheek. Although her Holy Spirit body had been awakened for the second time and her cultivation could increase, every step forward was extremely difficult. She was overjoyed that her sweetheart had improved his cultivation from the early stage to the middle stage in just one night. Senior brother, I have to thank you too. Fang Qiong-er's cultivation had improved from the peak of void training to the middle stage of body synthesis. She was naturally overjoyed by such a huge improvement. With this cultivation as a foundation, she could move forward to become a 7th-grade alchemist. After saying that, she hugged Qin Haodong and kissed him on the other cheek. Junior brother, I have to thank you too. Yun Xianxian's heart was filled with great happiness and joy. This wonderful feeling suppressed the shyness in her heart and she kissed Qin Haodong on the cheek with blushing cheeks. Haodong, thank you. Even Murong Jinghong, who had always been arrogant and cold, let go of his reservations and came over to kiss Qin Haodong. Seeing these girls lining up to kiss him to express their gratitude, Qin Haodong felt happy and a little touched. Any of these girls would have countless suitors, but they all fell in love with him. This was definitely a blessing from his previous life. Soon, everyone had expressed their gratitude. Only Nyotsuehua, who was standing next to him, pouted unhappily. What's wrong with you? Seeing that the first elder of the Ghost King's sect was unhappy, Qin Haodong pulled her hand and whispered in her ear. Nyotsuehua pouted and said like a jealous girl, "You didn't help me improve my cultivation, so I don't have a reason to kiss you." Well, you've helped me so much, I should be the one thanking you. Nyotsuehua blushed and said in a low voice, but you didn't say anything. Qin Haodong glanced back and saw that the other girls had already left. He reached out to hug Niu Tsuehua and kissed her on the cheek. However, the first elder of the Ghost King's sect was obviously not satisfied with this kind of kiss. She turned back and kissed him on the mouth. When they came outside, Luo Dongqing and Yuanren were already waiting there. Seeing Qin Haodong, he came over excitedly and said, "Boy, how was it?" Qin Haodong said, "Very, very successful. Just wait to win the championship." "Great, this is really great. Our Black Tortoise Academy can finally hold our heads up." Luo Dongqing was so excited that he was rubbing his hands. The 4 great academies exchange had been held for so many years, and all the other academies had won the championship. Only the Black Tortoise Institute had always been at the bottom. If he could bring the championship back, it would be enough for him to hold his head high in front of the old woman for a while. The moment Yuanren, who was standing behind him, saw Qin Haodong, his eyes were filled with hatred. Qin, Chen, Qin, him, Chen, Chen, you, tu, Chen, and Qin, what's so good about this man? The dean thinks highly of him. Tu Jiao, Murong Jinghong, and the other talented girls all want to marry him. What happened to Yuanjian made him hate Qin Haodong. His failure to absorb spiritual energy from the Black Tortoise spiritual spring and improve his cultivation made him angry. In short, the sight of this man seemed to have ignited all the negative emotions in his heart. However, no one paid attention to his emotions. They were like air and no one even looked at him. "Old man, don't be so happy. Hurry up and organize the competition. They will start soon," said the little she-devil. Yes, look at me. I'm so happy that I forgot about the important matter." Luo Dongqing said, "Everyone, get ready. We're going to participate in the competition immediately. At the same time, I announce that Qin Haodong will be the captain of the Black Tortoise Academy. Everything in the competition will be under his command." None of the girls had any objection to this proposal. Only Yuanren's dissatisfaction increased. After a round of applause, Luo Dongqing said again, "Kid, make the arrangements for the competition." Qin Haodong did not stand on ceremony and said directly, "I'll announce 2 things. First, everyone must obey the rules and listen to my command during the competition. Otherwise, don't blame me for being rude." How could he not sense the dissatisfaction in Yuanren's heart? His words were directed at him alone. A trace of anger flashed in Yuanren's eyes as he thought to himself, "What's there to be proud of? I'll still have to compete in the competition later." Before this, his cultivation was outstanding in the entire Black Tortoise Academy, second only to Tu Jiao. In his opinion, even if he was not made the captain, he would still be the main force in the competition. At this moment, Qin Haodong said, "Second, the competition requires every academy to submit a list of 7 participants. Among the 7, there are 5 official members and 2 substitutes. I'll now announce the list of the main force and substitutes who will be participating in the competition. The main force is Luo Hongying, Tu Jiao, Murong Jinghong, Fang Qiong'er, and me. The first substitute is Yun Qianqian, and the second substitute is Yuanren." Hearing this result, Yuanren was stunned at first. Then, a raging fire burned in his heart. Given his cultivation and talent, he was actually placed on the bench. Moreover, he was the second substitute among the only 2 substitutes. What was going on? I'm not convinced. He jumped out and pointed at Qin Haodong, shouting, "You're using your power to avenge a personal grudge. Given my abilities, why should I be a substitute, and the second substitute at that?" Turning back, he said to Luo Dongqing, "Dean, Qin Haodong doesn't deserve to be the captain at all. You see, he's making random arrangements. He even made me the second substitute. It's obvious that he's retaliating." As the teacher leading the team, Luo Dongqing was naturally very clear about the strength of the students from the Black Tortoise Academy. Yun Qianqian and Fang Qiong'er were only at the great perfection of the void refinement realm. Even if they improved their cultivation last night, it's impossible for them to surpass Yuanren, right? He looked at Qin Haodong and said, "Kid, tell me the reason for this arrangement." Qin Haodong said with an indifferent expression, "The reason is very simple. The ranking is based on strength. Yuanren is the weakest and can only be the second substitute." Yuanren roared, "What? I'm the weakest? Which eye of yours saw that I'm the weakest?" Qin Haodong smiled faintly and said, "You're not convinced, are you? Then I'll give you a chance to prove your incompetence. You can challenge any of us. As long as you defeat one of the main members, you'll be the main member. If you defeat me, the captain, you'll be the captain. What do you mean by a chance to prove my incompetence?" Yuanren was about to explode with rage. He was just about to jump out and challenge Qin Haodong, but he quickly controlled his emotions. He had seen Qin Haodong's strength during the North-South Academy tournament. He was indeed no match for him, and challenging him directly was not a wise choice. This kid must be setting a trap for him to challenge him. "I won't fall for it." Yuanren said, "Are you going to keep your word?" Qin Haodong said, "Of course. You only need to defeat one of the people here." "All right, I'll challenge you now. Let's see how you're going to hide your face later." Yuanren glanced around. Fang Qiong'er was supposed to be the weakest, but he felt that challenging the weakest wasn't enough to prove his ability. Tu Jiaojiao was stronger than him, and the little she-devil had an unpredictable summoning ability. Therefore, he let the two of them pass, pointed at Murong Jinghong, and said, "I want to challenge Jinghong Fairy." "Sure." Qin Haodong agreed without hesitation. The others retreated to the sides, making a space in the middle. Murong Jinghong exuded a powerful chill when he saw that this guy had actually challenged him. Yuanren didn't know that Murong Jinghong's cultivation was already at the middle stage of the body integration realm. In his opinion, it was already extremely difficult to advance from the qi cultivation realm to the early stage of the body integration realm in such a short period of time. It would take at least a few years for him to advance further. Therefore, he was confident that his strength surpassed Murong Jinghong's. He said proudly, "Jinghong Fairy, as your senior, I'll let you have 3 moves first." "All right, let's begin." After Murong Jinghong finished speaking, he stretched out his jade-white palm and slapped it toward Yuanren's chest. This palm looked light and did not have much power, but it cleverly sealed off all of his opponent's escape routes. Seeing that he couldn't avoid it, Yuanren's expression turned solemn. He raised his hand and punched out. Now that things had come to this, he could only meet force with force. With a loud bang, the fist and the palm collided. Yuanren was sent flying dozens of meters away like a fly that had been swatted. He looked extremely miserable. Murong Jinghong stood there without moving an inch. His expression was calm, and the corners of his mouth curled into a sneer. He had only used one move, but the difference in strength between the two was obvious. He had even shown mercy on account of the fact that they were from the same academy. Otherwise, Yuanren wouldn't have just been sent flying. He would have vomited blood at the very least. Murong Jinghong smiled and said, "How about it? Are you going to let me go or not?" How is this possible? When did you reach the middle stage of the body integration realm?" Yuanren's face was full of disbelief. He couldn't imagine that there was such a huge gap between him and Murong Jinghong. Murong Jinghong sneered and said, "Does it have anything to do with you? Just tell me, are you going to admit defeat or not?" Yuanren had always been proud and arrogant. Today, he was completely suppressed and forced to admit defeat. This was a great humiliation to him. However, his current strength was right there for all to see. His opponent was at the middle stage of the body integration realm. He was no match for him at all. Isn't it just the middle stage of the body integration realm? What's so great about that? I'll reach it sooner or later. Yuanren thought to himself, I don't believe that everyone has reached the middle stage of the body integration realm. He no longer cared about his pride. He turned to Fang Qiong'er and said, I want to challenge her. As long as he defeated Fang Qiong'er, he would also be able to join the main force. Sure. Qin Haodong said to Fang Qiong'er, junior sister, be careful. Don't injure him no matter what. I understand, senior brother. Fang Qiong'er strode to the center of the arena and said to Yuanren, come, I'll let you make the first move. After his previous failure, Yuanren became much more cautious. He no longer acted carelessly and took the initiative to punch Fang Qiong'er's face. He was still confident about this match. Even if Fang Qiong'er could improve, she would at most advance from the peak of the void refinement realm to the early stage of the body integration realm. There was no way she would be a match for him. However, at this moment, a huge force swept over. Following that, he felt a pain in his chest and was once again sent flying backward like a fly. This time, he flew even further than before and only came to a stop after smashing through a few big trees. Chapter 983. Yuanren crawled up from the ground. His chest felt hot, and he could no longer hold back a mouthful of blood. Fang Qiong'er said with some embarrassment, I'm sorry, senior brother. I just raised my cultivation and couldn't control my strength well. I hit him too hard. Qin Haodong waved his hand and said, it's nothing. He's just the second substitute. We don't need him anyway. Yuanren spat out another mouthful of blood upon hearing this. This was too much of a bully. He was on the verge of a mental breakdown. Another mid-stage body integration cultivator. He could understand why Murong Jinghong could enter the mid-stage body integration. After all, he had a solid foundation. However, Fang Qiong'er was only at the peak of the void refinement realm. She had also reached this realm in just a few days. Since when were mid-stage body integration experts as worthless as sweet potatoes? But no matter what, he had already seen that his cultivation was indeed the weakest among the 7 of them. Qin Haodong looked at him with a smile and said, what do you think? Do you still want to challenge? Yuanren had already lost to the weakest Fang Qiong'er. If he challenged again, he would have to challenge the first substitute, Yun Qianqian. What was the point of fighting for a substitute position? He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and snorted coldly without saying anything else. Qin Haodong said, since no one has any objections, let's go. The Vermilion Bird Kingdom's Royal Martial Arts Arena, which could accommodate nearly 10,000 people, was now fully occupied. The ministers, generals, and nobles of the kingdom had all come to watch the competition. King Lu Zhaoji sat in the middle of the stands, accompanied by the eldest prince, Lu Hong. The arrival of Qin Haodong and the others immediately attracted the attention of the surrounding people. Did you see that? That's the Black Tortoise Kingdom. They're always at the bottom. They can't help it. They're too weak. If they're not at the bottom, who will be? Although the champion this year is uncertain, I'm sure that the Black Tortoise Kingdom will be the last place. Hearing the discussions around her, the little she-devil said hatefully, look down on us. I'll beat the crap out of the people from the Vermilion Bird Academy later and let them be so arrogant. Qin Haodong said, in this world, the winner takes all. They'll naturally shut up when they see our strength. After everyone was seated, it was time for the competition to begin. Lu Zhaoji began to speak on the stage. We welcome the students of the Azure Dragon Academy, the White Tiger Academy, and the Black Tortoise Academy to our Vermilion Bird Kingdom to participate in this exchange. He held a paper box in his hand, and inside it were 3 pieces of paper rolled into a ball. The format of the lot drawing was very simple. The host Vermilion Bird Kingdom would be the first to draw their opponent, and the remaining 2 academies would naturally be their opponents. Qin Haodong scanned the 3 paper balls with his divine sense and discovered that one of the paper balls had a faint fluctuation of spiritual sense. As expected, as the host, they would definitely tamper with it. According to his guess, the marked paper ball would definitely be their Black Tortoise Academy. Since the host Vermilion Bird Academy had the authority to do this, they would definitely reap some benefits from it. In their eyes, there were many benefits to drawing Black Tortoise Academy in the first round. Not only would they be able to conserve their strength to win the competition, it would also greatly boost their morale and win the support of the audience. Sure enough, after the lot drawing began, the Vermilion Bird Academy's team leader reached out and grabbed the paper ball from Black Tortoise Academy. When Lu Hong announced the results of the lot drawing, the audience cheered. In their eyes, the Vermilion Bird Academy had already won the first round. Qin Haodong couldn't help but sneer. He didn't know if the Vermilion Bird Academy would still be able to laugh later. Li Mengyao also revealed a smile. Everything was going according to her plan. As long as everything went smoothly, their Azure Dragon Academy would still have the chance to win the championship. Everything was prepared. The Vermilion Bird Academy versus Black Tortoise Academy would be the opening battle of this exchange competition. The Vermilion Bird Academy's team leader was called Chen Xuanshuang. She was a cold and aloof woman, and her cultivation had reached the middle stage of the body integration realm. Qin Haodong was secretly curious. It was obviously the Vermilion Bird Academy, shouldn't they be as enthusiastic as fire? Why was everyone from the team leader to the team leader so cold? After the team members from both sides entered the preparation area, Chen Xuanshuang said to the team members behind her, as the opening battle, our Vermilion Bird Academy can only win and not lose. Who will fight the first round? Team leader, just leave it to me to deal with a small Black Tortoise Academy. The one who spoke was a tall male student named Lu Baigang. He was at the early stage of the body integration realm, and was not considered an expert in the Vermilion Bird Academy. However, just as the others thought, Chen Xuanshuang didn't take the Black Tortoise Academy seriously. In her mind, the real opponents were the Azure Dragon Academy and the White Tiger Academy. To deal with the Black Tortoise Academy, the early stage of the body integration realm was enough. Go ahead. Remember, you can only win and not lose. Lu Baigang said with an arrogant expression, don't worry, team leader. If I can't even win against the Black Tortoise Academy, I might as well kill myself. After saying that, he strode to the middle of the arena. Qin Haodong clearly saw his opponent's cultivation and said to Feng Qiunger, junior sister, you fight the first round. No one objected to his order. Feng Qiunger walked to the arena step by step. After both sides were ready, the referee announced the start of the battle. Seeing Feng Qiunger, Lu Baigang said with a smile, the Black Tortoise Academy is not very good, but there are many beautiful girls. Sister, you'd better find another man to fight. I don't usually fight women. A trace of disdain flashed across Feng Qiunger's face. With your cultivation, I'm already flattering you. It's a pity that no one in the Black Tortoise Academy is weaker than me. Hearing this, the surrounding people were in an uproar. No one thought that the weak Black Tortoise Academy would be so arrogant. It seemed that they didn't take the Vermilion Bird Academy seriously at all. Go ahead, don't be polite, teach her a lesson. How dare she look down on the Vermilion Bird Academy? Even if she's a beautiful girl, teach her a lesson. How dare a weakling talk like that? We must show her the power of the Vermilion Bird Academy. This was the advantage of being on home ground. The crowd was in high spirits as they continuously cheered for their team members. Sitting on the arena, Lu Zhaoji tasted the delicate fruits and said, the Black Tortoise Academy is getting more and more ridiculous. Although they were weak in the past, they still knew how to be humble. Now they're all arrogant guys. Lu Hong said, as the saying goes, don't shed tears until you see the coffin. You'll know the power of the Vermilion Bird Academy in a moment. Lu Baigang said, since you're so stubborn, don't blame me for being rude. After saying that, he raised his hand and suddenly punched. Although he looked careless, in fact, he was not careless at all. He used the Vermilion Bird Academy's most powerful kung fu, Ninth Heaven Phoenix dance. As he threw out a punch, the violent energy instantly turned into a fire phoenix, rushing toward Feng Qiunger with a monstrous momentum. Although he was only at the early stage of the form synthesis stage, the surrounding temperature seemed to instantly rise when he attacked with all his strength. Lu Zhaoji nodded and said, not bad. You have such cultivation at such a young age. You will definitely be a pillar of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom in the future. Lu Xiaofu said, Your Majesty, this year's contestants are the strongest in the history of the Vermilion Bird Academy. Our goal is to be the champion. At this point, a smile blossomed on her originally cold face, but at this moment, her eyes suddenly widened, as if she had seen something terrifying, and she stared fixedly at the arena. Fang Qiong'er made her move. She didn't use any fancy moves. She just raised her hand and slapped the phoenix, as if an adult was hitting a child. But such a casual slap instantly disintegrated the phoenix's momentum, turning it into nothingness and dissipating in the void. And her palm didn't stop and slapped Lu Baigang's face. Lu Baigang was using the ninth heaven phoenix dance with all his strength. He didn't expect that his trump card would be disintegrated by his opponent in an instant. Before he could react, he felt a pain in his face. Then his body flew out like a kite with a broken string and fell out of the arena with a plop. She won with one move, and it was done so casually. The audience instantly fell into silence. No one had expected the first match to be like this. The powerful Vermilion Bird Academy, who was ready to win the championship, had been defeated. The contestants, whom they had high hopes for, couldn't even resist one move from their opponent. They lost miserably and embarrassedly. Lu Zhaoji, Lu Hong, and Lu Xiaofu sat on the arena, dumbfounded like wooden sculptures. They didn't understand when the Black Tortoise Academy, which had always been weak, became so domineering. Even Li Mengyao, who knew the ins and outs of the Black Tortoise Academy, was shocked. She had thought that the strongest people in the Black Tortoise Academy were Qin Haodong and the little she-devil. She didn't expect that a random female contestant would be so powerful. Chapter 984. At this moment, the air in the huge venue seemed to be still. The audience didn't come to their senses until Fang Qiong'er turned around and walked off the stage. Trash. How incompetent. How could they lose to Black Tortoise Academy? What's going on? They even lost to Black Tortoise Academy. What else can they do? I'm so disappointed. I'm so angry. The referee came to his senses in anger and disappointment. He couldn't do anything about the result even if he wanted to. He had no choice but to announce that Black Tortoise Academy won the first match. Lu Zhaoji said with dissatisfaction, What happened? This is the first match of the opening match. As the host, we lost the first match. Lu Hong said, Father, don't be angry. It was an accident. Who would have thought that Black Tortoise Academy would have a middle stage body integration expert? Black Tortoise Academy's member was obviously one level higher than Lu Baigang. It's normal for them to win. Lu Xiaofu's face didn't look good either. She said, Although we lost the first match, the final victory belongs to us. Black Tortoise Academy can only have one middle stage body integration expert at most. Lu Zhaoji's face eased a lot. He said to Lu Xiaofu, Tell our team that we can't lose the second match no matter what. Lu Xiaofu said, Don't worry, Your Majesty. Chen Xuanshuang must have been careless and underestimated Black Tortoise Academy by sending a weak student. We'll send a middle stage body integration expert for the second match. We'll definitely win. Then she walked off the stand and made a gesture to Chen Xuanshuang to go all out. Chen Xuanshuang's face was also very gloomy. Losing the first match was equivalent to slapping the Vermilion Bird Kingdom's face. She couldn't accept the fact that their opponent was the weakest Black Tortoise Kingdom. Feng Tianbao, you'll fight this match. You must win back the face you lost. There were 3 middle stage body integration experts in Vermilion Bird Academy, and Feng Tianbao was one of them. Don't worry, Captain. Leave it to me. As a member of the Vermilion Bird Academy, Feng Tianbao also felt ashamed after losing the first match. He swore in his heart that he would teach Black Tortoise Academy a lesson. Qin Haodong didn't want to give his opponent any chance to fight back. He didn't even want his opponent to see any hope, so he directly sent the little witch, Luo Hongying. Women again? Why is the Black Tortoise Institute full of women? and all of them are so beautiful. We definitely won't lose this match. After all, Black Tortoise region's strength is clear for all to see. They only have that one expert, the chance for revenge is here. We can't be merciful just because our opponent is a woman. Victory, we must win. Amidst the clamor, the referee announced the start of the match. According to Qin Haodong's instructions, Luo Hongying opened the living spirit gate without any hesitation. Among all the team members, the number of summoners was not high. Seeing that she had used the summoning spell as soon as she came up, everyone's eyes were focused on the quaint door, wondering what kind of magical beast would be summoned inside. Roar, with an earth-shaking roar, a large leopard leapt out from within. Its body was still glistening with tears. It was a Class 7 Thunder Leopard. The Thunder Leopard was a peak existence among Class 7 magical beasts. Its strength was equivalent to the body integration realm. Li Mengyao had used a Thunder Leopard to increase her strength by several times. Seeing his opponent summon a Thunder Leopard, Feng Tianbao was a bit dumbfounded. He didn't expect to meet such a strong opponent. But something even more surprising happened. The living spirit gate didn't stop. 3 more Thunder Leopards leapt out from behind. That was the advantage of the Holy Spirit body. If it was a normal summoner, their mental power wouldn't be able to maintain the fusion with 4 magical beasts. But the little witch was different. She could summon magical beasts as she pleased. She didn't have to worry about mental power. Poor Feng Tianbao. Just a moment ago, he was full of vigor and confidence. Now that he saw 4 Thunder Leopards surrounding him, a fierce glint flashed in his snow-red eyes. He suddenly had the urge to pee. He couldn't even deal with 1 Thunder Leopard. How could he fight with 4 in front of him? In the stands, Lu Zhaoji's eyes widened. A Class 7 summoner can actually summon 4 magical beasts at once. Is Black Tortoise Academy trying to defy the heavens? Disappointment flashed in Lu Xiaofu's eyes. Looks like we're going to lose again. Seeing that the 4 Thunder Leopards were about to attack, Feng Tianbao hurriedly shouted to the referee, "I admit defeat. I admit defeat." This was only a competition. Stubbornly holding on was useless. Even if he did, there was no hope. He might even become the Thunder Leopard's feces. The referee was also afraid that something would happen to his team member. He hurriedly announced, "Black Tortoise Academy wins this match." Truly trash. I haven't had my fill yet. The little witch curled her lips in dissatisfaction. She waved her hand and sent the 4 Thunder Leopards back into the living spirit gate. She then turned around and jumped off the stage. Seeing the result, everyone's eyes widened. The competition had just started and Black Tortoise Academy had already won 2 matches in a row. Moreover, they had crushed their opponents with absolute superiority. What kind of situation was this? According to the rules of the competition, the best of 5 matches was used. If they lost another match, Vermilion Bird Academy would have no chance at all. Seeing that her team had reached the edge of the cliff, Chen Xuanxuang didn't assign other team members. Instead, she personally went to the stage. They couldn't lose again. They couldn't afford to lose again. If they lost to Black Tortoise Academy with a score of 0-3, the consequences would be unimaginable. Tu Jiaojiao said, "Haodong, let me fight this match." "No need. Since they sent their captain, I'll fight." Tu Jiaojiao's strength wasn't much different from Chen Xuanxuang's. She might even be a bit weaker. Even if she could win, it would be a difficult battle. This was obviously not in line with Qin Haodong's original intention. Not only did he want to win this match, but he also wanted to win cleanly and thoroughly destroy the opponent's confidence. Therefore, he personally stood in the stage for this match. The referee announced the start of the match. Chen Xuanxuang said to Qin Haodong, "I'm telling you, Black Tortoise Academy can't get away with this. Vermilion Bird Academy must win this match." Qin Haodong sneered, "Do you think our victory is a fluke?" Chen Xuanxuang said arrogantly, "Isn't it? Don't you know the strength of Black Tortoise Academy? Do you want to win against our Vermilion Bird Academy? Qin Haodong smiled playfully. If you think we're lucky, you'll soon find that we'll win by luck again. Dream on. Now I'll show you the real strength of our Vermilion Bird Academy. Chen Xuanshuang's expression changed as she spoke. She opened her arms and used the phoenix dance in ninth heaven that Lu Baigang had used before. It was the same move, but the power in her hands was even more amazing. A fire phoenix that was twice the size of the previous one appeared in the middle of the stage. It made a loud cry and suddenly pounced on Qin Haodong. No wonder she's the captain of Vermilion Bird Academy. This phoenix dance in ninth heaven is so good. Captain Xuanshuang is the goddess in my heart. The goddess will win, the captain is going all out. The kid from Black Tortoise Academy is dead. Lu Xiaofu breathed a sigh of relief in the stands. Finally, they could win the next round. If they lost 3 rounds in a row, the Vermilion Bird Academy would be embarrassed to death. Just when everyone thought that Chen Xuanshuang would win, Qin Haodong made his move, and the way he did it was exactly the same as Fang Qiong in the first round. He also slapped her. The phoenix dance in ninth heaven was just a move. The fierce fire phoenix was completely condensed by the true essence. To break it, one must have enough strength. And Qin Haodong happened to have this strength. With the characteristics of his cultivation, he was completely invincible among his peers. With a slap, the powerful qi quickly disintegrated the fire phoenix. This, Chen Xuanshuang was shocked. She didn't expect this to happen. However, she reacted much faster than Lu Baigang. Facing Qin Haodong's palm, she also slashed at him with her palm. With a muffled bang, the 2 palms collided. Chen Xuanshuang's strength was originally not as good as Qin Haodong's. Coupled with the hasty response, she was directly sent flying dozens of meters by the slap. The genuine qi in her body seemed to collapse at any time. She could no longer exert any strength and fell out of the arena with a plop. With another move, the Black Tortoise Academy won 3 rounds in a row, and in each round, they only used 1 move. This kind of absolute strength made everyone's eyeballs almost fall to the ground. Was this still the weak Black Tortoise Academy that they used to be? On the arena, Lu Zhaoji held a grape in his hand. He didn't put it into his mouth for a long time. This result was far beyond his expectation. They had lost so miserably. Was the Black Tortoise Academy too strong, or the Vermilion Bird Academy too weak? The referee on the arena was completely dumbfounded. He didn't expect that the Vermilion Bird Academy, where he was from, really lost, and lost to the Black Tortoise Academy. Qin Haodong went over to pull his sleeve and said, "Referee, should you announce that we have won?" Oh. Although the referee was very reluctant, the result of the game was there. He could only say, "This game is the winner of the Black Tortoise Academy." According to the competition system, the Black Tortoise Academy is the final winner. Hooray! The whole arena fell into silence. Only the members of the Black Tortoise Academy cheered after their victory. Luo Dongqing rushed onto the arena, picked Qin Haodong up and threw him high into the air. She was so excited that she was about to go crazy. For so many years, the Black Tortoise Academy had been in a position of being ridiculed. Today, they had fought a beautiful turnaround. Not only did they win, they won happily, without any suspense. Tu Jiaojiao and Murong Jinghong, the 2 members who had participated in the previous exchange competition, were also so excited that tears streamed down their cheeks. In the past, the Black Tortoise Academy had lost every match in an extremely humiliating manner. But today, with this man, everything had changed. Victory had become so easy. Song Tian and the others from the White Tiger Academy were also dumbfounded. Before the competition, no one had ever considered the Black Tortoise Academy as an opponent. But now, the situation had changed. The powerful Vermilion Bird Academy had lost so badly that they couldn't even organize an effective counterattack. This kind of situation forced them to reevaluate this rapidly rising opponent. Li Menyao's expression was solemn. She didn't have the complacency of succeeding in her plot. Even if their Azure Dragon Academy could win against the White Tiger Academy and the Vermilion Bird Academy, it was likely that they would miss the first place. The Black Tortoise Academy's performance was so valiant that everyone had a whole new level of respect for them. Chapter 985. Although the defeat of the Vermilion Bird Academy caused everyone's mood to drop, the competition still had to continue. The second match was between the White Tiger Academy and the Azure Dragon Academy. As the champion of the last competition, the Azure Dragon Academy urgently needed a victory to prove themselves. After the match began, Li Mengyao sent Pang Ban up first. On the White Tiger Academy's side, the team leader was called Lei Wanjun. He was also a body integration middle stage expert. They could be said to be old rivals with the Azure Dragon Academy. They had been strong contenders for the championship for many years. Lei Wanjun lost to Li Mengyao in the last competition, resulting in him being the runner-up. However, they came prepared today. With the help of a special secret technique, there were already 4 body integration middle stage experts in their team. Their overall strength was stronger than the Azure Dragon Academy. Seeing Pang Ban go up, he waved his hand and sent one of his team members up to fight. The team member he sent up was already at the body integration middle stage while Pang Ban was only at the body integration early stage. Due to the huge difference in cultivation, the match was one-sided from the start. Pang Ban barely managed to block 2 moves and was kicked off the arena on the 3rd move. The difference in strength was too big. The match had no suspense at all. Immediately after, the Azure Dragon Academy sent up Zhao Long and Lei Wanjun sent up another body integration middle stage member. The result was exactly the same as the previous match. Zhao Long was once again kicked off the arena in less than 3 moves. The White Tiger Academy won 2 matches in a row. The White Tiger Academy is so fierce. They look like they will be the champion this year. What's wrong with the Azure Dragon Academy? They can't even withstand a single blow. Hearing the discussions around her, Li Mengyao's expression quickly darkened. As the champion of the last competition, she couldn't accept losing like this. For the 3rd match, she personally walked up to the arena. She called out to the White Tiger Academy, Lei Wanjun, you lost to me last year. Do you have the guts to fight me again this year? Lei Wanjun only smiled, second princess, we've already won 2 matches in a row. There's no need to fight an expert like you head on. After speaking, he waved his hand and another White Tiger Academy member went up to the arena. However, this person was only at the body integration early stage. The situation had been reversed. The arena was still a battle of unequal strength. However, this time, it was the White Tiger Academy member who was kicked off the arena. Lei Wanjun didn't seem worried at all, even though he had lost a match. Li Mengyao let out a sigh of relief, but she didn't dare to relax at all. She sent out the powerful Lu Mingjiu for the 4th match. On the White Tiger Academy's side, they had also sent a mid-body integration expert, Gao Zixing. Both of them possessed the same cultivation base, and a spectacular battle between 2 mid-body integration stage beings had finally unfolded. All of the spectators were cheering with glee as they watched the battle between 2 mid-body integration stage beings. The battle lasted for more than half an hour. In the end, Lu Mingjiu relied on her superior moves to knock her opponent off the stage with a single palm strike. The score on the stage was tied at 2-2. The little she-devil sat beside Qin Haodong and said, "Little brother, who do you think will win between the Azure Dragon Academy and the White Tiger Academy?" Qin Haodong said, "There's no longer any suspense. The White Tiger Academy will definitely win. If the Azure Dragon Academy loses, they'll lose because they have no brains." The little demon girl said in surprise, "What do you mean? I don't quite understand. Wasn't Li Mengyao very smart when she was scheming against us?" Niu Zuhua also came over to watch the match. She sat on the other side of Qin Haodong and asked, "That's right, husband. Why do you say that the Azure Dragon Academy has no brains?" Qin Haodong said, "Then I'll tell you a story and you'll understand." The name of the story is called Tianji's Horse Race. In the past, there was a general called Tianji. He loved horse racing very much. Once, he and the king had a race. Their horses could be divided into 3 classes. During the race, the 2 of them used the superior horse against the superior horse, the medium horse against the medium horse, and the inferior horse against the inferior horse. In the end, after 3 races, Tianji's horse couldn't compare to the king's horse and was defeated. At this time, a good friend of his called Sun Bin told him that the king's horse wasn't much faster than his horse. Tianji said with dissatisfaction, "Are you mocking me because I lost?" Sun Bin said, "I'm not mocking you. If you race with the king again, I guarantee that you'll win." Tianji asked, "Do you have a better horse than the king?" Sun Bin shook his head and said, "I can still win the race without changing horses." Tianji shook his head and said, "How is that possible? I'll still lose if I race again." Sun Bin said with confidence, "Do as I say and I guarantee that you'll win the race." So Tianji found the king again and the 2 of them had a second race. This time, according to Sun Bin's request, Tianji used the inferior horse against the king's superior horse and lost the first round. In the second round, Tianji used the superior horse against the king's medium horse and won the race. In the third round, Tianji used the medium horse against the king's inferior horse and won the race. In the end, according to the rule of best 2 out of 3, he won the whole race. This time, the king was dumbfounded and didn't understand why the same horse could produce different results. The little witch was very smart and immediately said, "Little brother, you mean that the White Tiger Academy and the Azure Dragon Academy played a game of Tianji's horse race?" Nyotsuhua said, "Husband, I still don't understand. Tell me what's going on." Qin Haodong said, "In terms of strength, the White Tiger Academy has 4 experts at the middle stage of the body synthesis realm, while the Azure Dragon Academy only has 2. But Li Mengyao and Lu Mingjiu are strong and stronger than the White Tiger Academy." Lei Wanjun, who had lost once, was very clear about this. If he lost 2 rounds, even if the other 2 experts at the middle stage of the body synthesis realm won, the score would still be 2-2. The final decision of the race would be handed over to a member at the early stage of the body synthesis realm, which was obviously not what he wanted. So he used the skill of Tianji's horse race to cleverly avoid Li Mengyao and Lu Mingjiu, and the remaining crucial round fell into his own hands. Although the score is still 2-2, he has already won. "Husband, you know so much. I almost worship you to death." Nyotsuhua said and hugged Qin Haodong's arm tightly, letting him fully feel how amazing the elasticity of her chest was. Qin Haodong said hurriedly, "Hurry up and watch the race. The result is about to come out." The few of them turned their attention back to the arena. Lei Wanjun faced an early stage of the body synthesis realm from the Azure Dragon Academy with a hint of disdain in his eyes. As soon as the referee announced the start of the match, he kicked his opponent off the arena. Seeing that she had lost the entire match, Li Mengyao's face turned ashen. She realized that she had fallen into Lei Wanjun's trap, but it was too late for regrets. She was originally an extremely intelligent woman, but it was a pity that Li Tianba hadn't returned for 2 days in a row, disturbing her mind and giving Lei Wanjun a chance. Seeing that his academy had won, Song Tian was wild with joy. In his eyes, defeating the Azure Dragon Academy was already halfway to becoming the champion. It was almost noon when the 2 matches ended. After a short break, the competition resumed in the afternoon. According to the rules of the competition, the 2 academies that won would be in the same group, while the 2 academies that lost would face each other. First, the Black Tortoise Academy would face the White Tiger Academy, then the Vermilion Bird Academy would face the Azure Dragon Academy. After defeating the Azure Dragon Academy, Lei Wanjun had tasted the sweetness of his Tianji horse racing strategy and decided to continue using it in the match against the Black Tortoise Academy. From the previous matches, he knew that Qin Haodong and the little she-devil Luo Hongying were the strongest 2, so he only needed to make way for them. The Black Tortoise Academy didn't have that many concerns. After the start of the match, Qin Haodong sent 2 Jiao Jiao to the arena first. On the White Tiger Academy's side, they also sent a tyrannical mid-stage body synthesis realm cultivator. Although the two of them had the same cultivation, 2 Jiao Jiao was still a well-known figure in the Black Tortoise Academy. Whether it was in terms of techniques, moves, or experience, she was superior to the other student. After a dozen or so moves, she punched her opponent to the ground and kicked him off the arena. Lei Wanjuan's face was originally filled with joy, but when he saw that his side had lost, his smile immediately disappeared. Up until now, 4 students from the Black Tortoise Academy had gone on stage, each stronger than the other. All of them had reached the early stage of the body synthesis realm, which was far beyond his expectations. In other words, the opponents were all top-notch horses. There was no way he could take advantage of them. As if to confirm his thoughts, the Black Tortoise Academy sent out Murong Jinghong for the second match. Once again, he defeated a mid-stage body synthesis realm cultivator from the White Tiger Academy. This time, Lei Wanjun was completely dumbfounded. In the best of 5 matches, the Black Tortoise Academy had already won 2 matches in a row, forcing them into a desperate situation. Moreover, it was different from the match against the Azure Dragon Academy. It was obvious that the strongest student from the Black Tortoise Academy hadn't gone on stage yet. Luo Dongqing came to Song Tian's side and teased, "Old man Song, didn't your team members eat? Why are they so weak?" Song Tian snorted coldly, "What are you so proud of? The match hasn't ended yet, has it?" Luo Dongqing laughed, "In my eyes, it's already over. It seems that your side isn't strong enough. I'm afraid you won't even be able to win a single match." At this crucial moment, Lei Wanjun couldn't hold back anymore. He strode onto the arena and personally took on the third match. The little she-devil said, "Little brother, let me go. I'll let my dog bite this horse breeder to death." Qin Haodong chuckled, "Well, be careful. This guy is very cunning. You must open the living spirit gate as soon as the match begins." He now had absolute confidence in the little she-devil's strength. As long as she could summon a magical beast, he was afraid that no one under the 7th grade would be a match for her. "Don't worry, little brother. I know what I'm doing." The little she-devil jumped onto the arena and said to Lei Wanjun, "Horse breeder, let me deal with you." Lei Wanjun was puzzled. He had never heard of the story of Tianji's horse racing. Naturally, he didn't know when he had become a horse breeder. He had seen the strength of the little she-devil's summoned magical beast before, so he didn't dare to underestimate her. After the referee announced the start of the match, Lei Wanjun quickly attacked the little she-devil. He knew that she was an extremely powerful summoner. The best way to deal with her was to not give her the chance to summon her magical beast. Unfortunately, he still underestimated the little she-devil's holy spirit body. Unlike other summoners, the little she-devil's speed of summoning magical beasts was not only fast, but also undisturbed. After dodging Lei Wanjuan's punch, the living spirit gate had slowly opened. The audience all looked towards the quaint door, wanting to see what else this little girl would summon. Chapter 986. After the living spirit gate opened, no roars could be heard. However, the air around the ring seemed to have been ignited, instantly becoming scorching hot. Following that, a golden python that was dozens of feet long slithered out. Heavens, I've seen this thing before. It's a golden Qilin fire python, one of the most powerful class 7 magical beasts. A golden Qilin fire python is as powerful as a thunder leopard. This young lady is so powerful. The White Tiger Academy is finished. Lei Wanjuan's expression became extremely solemn. As a mid-body integration cultivator, there was no way he wouldn't recognize a golden Qilin fire python. It was one of the most powerful class 7 magical beasts. It was not something that he could fight against at his current level. What made him even more solemn was that there wasn't just one golden Qilin fire python. There were 2 of them, one in front and one behind him. Lei Wanjuan's heart had completely sunk. If there was only one golden Chilan fire python, he might be able to fight to the death. However, there were two of them. He had no chance of winning. Just as he was hesitating about whether to admit defeat, the two golden Chilan fire pythons opened their mouths wide. Monstrous flames instantly engulfed the entire ring. As Class 7 magical beasts, the flames they spat out were not as powerful as natural flames, but they were not too far off. Lei Wanjun had already pushed his protective chi to the limit, but he still felt the heat was unbearable. Even the hair on his head was burning. I admit defeat, I admit defeat. He could no longer care about anything else. He could only lower his head and admit defeat. The little demoness shook her head and said, "How boring. Admitting defeat so quickly. I haven't even sprinkled chili powder yet." With that, she waved her hand. The two golden Chilan fire pythons stopped and returned to the living spirit gate. By now, Lei Wanjun was in a terrible state. His hair, which had been so cool a moment ago, had been completely burned off. Originally, everyone from the White Tiger Academy wore a set of white robes. However, they were now charred black. Coupled with the soot on their cheeks, they looked like roasted sparrows. He no longer had the face to stand on the ring. He jumped off and returned to his side. The referee announced to the audience, "Black Tortoise Academy wins this match." Everyone present was shocked by this result. If defeating the Vermilion Bird Academy could be said to be a fluke, then defeating the White Tiger Academy in such a clean and tidy manner was absolutely not something that could be explained as a fluke. It could only be said that the other party's strength was exceedingly strong. In his previous impression, the Vermilion Bird Academy was weak to the point where it couldn't be any weaker, a weak chicken that could be stepped on by anyone. Who would have thought that this year's Vermilion Bird Academy would actually become so powerful? Luo Dongqing was so happy that she couldn't close her mouth. She proudly said to Song Tian, "Old Song, did you see that? This is absolute power." No matter how the result of the competition was, it still had to continue. The second match, the Vermilion Bird Academy against the Azure Dragon Academy. In this match, the strength of the two teams was similar. The battle was extremely fierce, and they fought for a full 5 rounds. In the end, the Vermilion Bird Academy relied on their home advantage to win the match with a score of 3-2, finally saving some face for the host team. However, as the champion of the previous tournament, the Azure Dragon Academy could be said to have been thoroughly disgraced, as they had not even managed to obtain a single point. According to the schedule of the competition, there would be no rest after this. The third round of the competition would be carried out directly. In the previous 2 matches, other than the Black Tortoise Academy, the other academies more or less had their members injured. However, every academy had brought along 2 substitutes. This was the time when the importance of the substitutes was reflected. After watching the Vermilion Bird Academy's match, everyone's attention once again gathered on the Black Tortoise Academy. Everyone wanted to see if the Black Tortoise Academy would be able to stage a comeback and really win the championship this time around. As soon as the competition started, Qin Haodong was the first to step onto the ring, looking at the Azure Dragon Academy with a smile on his face. Li Menyao's expression was already extremely ugly. The reason why she had previously proposed to change the order of the competition was for an unknown purpose. If the Black Tortoise Academy had suffered heavy losses in the previous 2 matches, she could completely violate the promise that she had previously made and lead the Azure Dragon Academy to defeat the Black Tortoise Academy. However, the current situation was completely the opposite of what she had expected. After 2 matches, the Black Tortoise Academy had won beautifully. It could even be said that there was no blood on their blades, and no one was injured. Now that things had come to this, it was useless even if she wanted to deny it. With the current remnants of their team, they simply did not have the strength to fight against the Black Tortoise Academy. Fighting another match would only be asking to be humiliated. Helplessly, she stood up and shouted to the referee on the stage, "The Azure Dragon Academy admits defeat for this round's competition." As soon as she finished speaking, the audience at the scene was shocked. Admitting defeat on the spot before the match had even started was the first time in the Four Nations Exchange tournament. Generally speaking, no matter how weak one was, they still had to maintain their integrity. For example, the Black Tortoise Academy from before. Although they knew that they were no match for their opponent in every match, they still fought until the last moment. This was related to the integrity of an academy. The eldest Prince Lu Hong said, "Second Princess, isn't it against the rules to admit defeat on the spot without even fighting a single match?" Lu Xiaofu's originally cold expression also became extremely ugly. At this moment, she had already realized something. The Azure Dragon Academy seemed to have already known that this year's Black Tortoise Academy was not normal, so they deliberately changed the order of the competition, causing them to lose the first match so badly. In other words, they had been completely tricked by the Azure Dragon Academy. Li Mengyao said expressionlessly, "Your Highness, we have too many injured members on our side. We no longer have the ability to fight, so we can only admit defeat." Admitting defeat on the spot was also allowed by the rules, so Lu Hong could not say anything else and could only silently accept this result. Although the final competition had not been completely completed, the Black Tortoise Academy had already won all 3 matches and became the overall champion this time. "Hooray, we are the champions. Our Black Tortoise Academy is the champion." The Black Tortoise Academy, led by the old man Luo Dongqing, burst into cheers. Only Qin Haodong was relatively calm. This result was completely within his expectations. The next match was the White Tiger Academy against the Vermilion Bird Academy. The overall champion had already been decided, so this match was obviously boring. In the end, the White Tiger Academy relied on the advantage of the bench to obtain victory with a score of 3-2. The final ranking was, the Black Tortoise Academy was first, the White Tiger Academy was second, the Vermilion Bird Academy was third, and the previous champion, the Azure Dragon Academy, was last. Li Menyao's expression was so gloomy that it seemed like water was about to drip out. She had originally thought that the championship of the exchange tournament would still be theirs, but she did not expect to be crushed by the Black Tortoise Academy to such an extent that even the teacher leading the team had disappeared. She looked at the smiling Qin Haodong, her eyes filled with viciousness. Niu Zuhua whispered into Qin Haodong's ear, "Husband, you have to be careful of that woman. I think she will definitely take revenge on you." Qin Haodong smiled faintly. "It doesn't matter, let her do whatever she wants." Li Tianba had already been killed by him. He did not believe that the Azure Dragon Academy would be able to come up with any tricks. Moreover, after the competition ended, they would return to the Black Tortoise Academy in a few days. After the competition ended, Lu Zhaoji began to give out the prizes to the winning team members. According to the previous promise, the prize was a low-grade immortal crystal. All the members of the Vermilion Bird Academy stood on the podium together. As the captain, Qin Haodong stood at the very front. "Young lads, your performance was not bad. Congratulations on obtaining first place." Lu Zhaoji had a smile on his face, but his heart was aching. He had originally thought that the Vermilion Bird Academy had the highest chance of winning this year, but he did not expect that the immortal crystal would be taken away by others. He handed the immortal crystal to Qin Haodong, and said casually, "Young lad, this is a good thing. It can help people quickly increase their cultivation. I really don't know how you will split the prize with so many of you." As the king, this guy was extremely scheming. He had casually played a game of sowing discord. From Lu Zhaoji's point of view, the Black Tortoise Academy winning the championship was purely an accident. In the face of such an expensive prize, these members would definitely have internal strife. Unexpectedly, Tu Jiaojiao took the lead and said, "The prize belongs to our captain, it has nothing to do with us." As soon as she spoke, the others echoed, "That's right, this immortal crystal belongs to our captain, it has nothing to do with us." In the hearts of these people, the help that Qin Haodong had given them was far more than the immortal crystal. Without Qin Haodong's help, their cultivation would not have increased so quickly, and it would have been even more impossible for them to become the overall champion of this competition. Only Yu Wanren's eyes flashed with a hint of unwillingness. Unfortunately, he was a substitute who had not even participated in the competition, and he was also the weakest. What right did he have to speak? Seeing that everyone respected Qin Haodong so much that even the immortal crystal could not arouse their desire, a hint of surprise flashed in Lu Zhaoji's eyes. He did not know what was so special about this young man that he actually had such great prestige. The second and third place also had prizes, but the preciousness was a few levels lower than the low-grade immortal crystal. Li Mengyao stood at the back of the team. Originally, the prize for the top 3 was designed to humiliate the Black Tortoise Academy, but now, this humiliation had been accepted by their Azure Dragon Academy. Fortunately, the competition had already ended. Lu Zhaoji said, "Next, the top 3 students, please follow our people to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. Tonight, you will stay outside the Spirit Spring, and tomorrow morning, you will enter to absorb the spirit energy." Having said that, he glanced at Niu Zuehua and He Ziwei who were accompanying Qin Haodong. "Young man, are these 2 your confidants?" Qin Haodong nodded and said, "That's right, but they are not students of the Black Tortoise Academy." Lu Zhaoji smiled and said, "No matter what, you are the champions of this competition, so I'll give you some special treatment. Bring your 2 friends with you." Originally, He Ziwei and Niu Zuehua were full of regret that they could not enter the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring, but after hearing Lu Zhaoji's words, they immediately cheered. At Niu Zuehua's level of cultivation, she did not have much interest in the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. What she cared about was being together with her husband. Qin Haodong felt that something was wrong, but he could not tell what the problem was. He politely said, "Thank you, Your Majesty." After that, under the lead of the eldest Prince Lu Hong, the members of the Black Tortoise Academy, White Tiger Academy, and Vermilion Bird Academy flew together towards the west side of Monarch City, rushing towards the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. The Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring was not too far from Monarch City. After about 4 hours, everyone arrived at the periphery. At this time, the kingdom had already made their preparations here. They had set up their tents and everyone was camping here, preparing to enter the Spirit Spring tomorrow morning. Although this was only the periphery of the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring, the spirit energy here was much denser than other places. The trees and flowers were also exceptionally lush. After eating dinner, Niu Zuehua pulled Qin Haodong's hand and said, "Husband, the environment here is so beautiful. Let's go out for a walk." "Sure." Qin Haodong agreed, and the 2 walked out hand in hand. Chapter 987. It was already dark outside the tent, but the moon was very bright in the sky. The bright moonlight plated the whole forest with a layer of silver brilliance. The forest was dense and there were strange rocks everywhere. However, the 2 of them were walking in the air and did not care what was under their feet. It was like walking in the forest. "It's so beautiful here." Niu Zuehua took Qin Haodong's arm and leaned her head on his shoulder. "Husband, if only I could be with you forever." Qin Haodong could only choose to remain silent. She was the first elder of the Ghost King sect. Who knew when her memory would be awakened and when she would draw her sword against him? Niu Zuehua raised her head and looked at him with big beautiful eyes. She said, "Husband, why don't you speak? Don't you like me?" "No, I like you very much." Qin Haodong's words were sincere. They had been together for such a long time and Niu Zuehua had done so much for him. It was impossible to say that he did not like her. It was just that he liked the current Niu Zuehua, not the first elder of the Ghost King sect. However, this kind of thing could not be explained clearly. Niu Zuehua smiled sweetly, but then she said pitifully, "But why do I always feel that you will leave me? You are by my side, but I feel that it is not real." Qin Haodong said, "Well, that's all your imagination." "Yes." Niu Zuehua nodded. Suddenly she pointed to a cliff and said, "Husband, I like that little flower. Can you pick it for me?" Qin Haodong looked in the direction of her finger. There was a tall cliff opposite. There was no grass on the steep rock wall, but there was a yellow plant. Different from ordinary plants, the stem and leaves of this plant were yellow, and there was a small emerald green flower. Generally speaking, flowers were extremely bright, and this kind of green was extremely rare. Husband, can you pick it for me? Didn't you say my name is Tsuehua? That flower is emerald green, and it suits me just right. With Nyotsuehua's cultivation, she could pick the little flower with just a wave of her hand and primordial chi. But now she was no different from an ordinary girl. Her face was full of expectation, and she hoped that her favorite person would give her flowers. In a flash, Qin Haodong came to the edge of the cliff and carefully picked up the yellow plant. His eyes flashed with joy. This is the soul awakening grass. The soul awakening grass was an extremely rare medicinal herb. Its greatest effect was to mend an injured primordial spirit. However, this kind of herb generally grew in places with rich spiritual qi and abundant fire elements. Normally, it was very difficult to see it. The vermilion bird spirit spring just happened to meet these two conditions. After confirming that it was the soul awakening grass, Qin Haodong was overjoyed. With it, his damaged spirit could quickly recover. Nyotsuehua also flew over and said with an expectant look, "What's wrong, husband? Quickly put it on for me." Qin Haodong didn't remind Nyotsuehua about the soul grass. Although it had a miraculous effect on healing the damaged primordial spirit, he didn't dare to give it to her. If he really cured her brain and completely restored her memory, then he would be in big trouble. He picked the green flower and carefully put it on Nyotsuehua's head. At the same time, he put away the stem and leaf in his hand. He would go back and mend his damaged spirit later. Nyotsuehua stood there quietly. After Qin Haodong put the flower on her head, she said with a happy face, "Husband, do I look beautiful wearing this flower?" "Yes, very beautiful," Qin Haodong said sincerely. Nyotsuehua's tender and beautiful face, tender white skin, and jet-black long hair set off the little emerald green flower beautifully. She looked truly beautiful and moving. "It's good that it's beautiful. I want to wear it on my head forever. When I see it, I will think of husband," Nyotsuehua said as she made a formation on the flower to keep it in a state of blooming. "Husband, I'm so beautiful. Won't you kiss me?" Feeling Nyotsuehua's deep affection, Qin Haodong lowered his head and their lips touched tightly. After a long time, the two slowly separated. Nyotsuehua's cheeks were red, like a shy little wife. The two of them walked around the mountain for a while. Seeing that the night was getting darker, they returned to the camp to rest. Qin Haodong returned to his tent and took out the soul awakening grass. After a simple refinement, he swallowed it. Soon, a cool feeling came from his brain. After a while, he tried to communicate with the 7th stage pagoda. In an instant, his figure disappeared and entered the 7th floor of the pagoda. "All right, it seems that my injured spirit has really recovered." Qin Haodong was overjoyed. Being able to use the 7th stage pagoda was equivalent to having an extra life at a critical moment. After confirming that his spirit had recovered, he returned to his tent to rest. The next morning, Qin Haodong suddenly woke up from his sleep. For some reason, he had a bad feeling in his heart. At this moment, someone shouted from outside, "People from the Black Tortoise Institution, get out here." Qin Haodong immediately recognized that it was Li Mengyao's voice. What did she mean? Was this woman crazy? She actually chased him here to find trouble? Logically speaking, the Azure Dragon Institution belonged to the 4th place and was not qualified to come to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. How did they come here? With a stomach full of questions, he opened the tent door and walked out. At the same time, Luo Dongqing, the little she-devil, and the others also walked out of the tent and stood side by side. After going out, they discovered that they were already surrounded. There were nearly 100 people surrounding the tent, and the lowest cultivation was at the early stage of body integration. In front of them were people from the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. However, other than Li Mengyao and her team members, there were also 2 old men. These 2 people exuded a powerful aura. Impressively, they were experts at the Great Ascension stage. Around them, Lu Hong and Lu Xiaofu from the Vermilion Bird Kingdom and Song Tian from the White Tiger Kingdom were also glaring at them with hostility. In addition to them, there were nearly 100 guards from various kingdoms. Seeing that the situation was not right, Luo Dongqing said with a sullen face, "Everyone, what is the meaning of this?" Lu Hong said, "Dean Luo, I still have to ask you. When did your Black Tortoise institution degenerate to the point of associating with the Ghost King sect?" Luo Dongqing said, "What nonsense are you talking about? Our Black Tortoise institution has always been clean. What does it have to do with the Ghost King sect?" Qin Haodong didn't have time to tell him that Niuzuehua was the great elder of the Ghost King sect, so he didn't know. "Is there really nothing to do with it?" Lu Hong said to Li Mengyao, "Your Royal Highness, explain it clearly." Li Mengyao took 2 steps forward, pointed at Niuzuehua and said, "Do you dare to say that she is not from the Ghost King sect?" Qin Haodong's heart suddenly sank. He realized what the problem was. When Niuzuehua attacked Li Tianba that day, she used the signature move of the Ghost King sect, the Nether Ghost Claw. He was sure that Li Mengyao had discovered the problem at that time. However, this woman was very scheming. She didn't make it public at that time. Instead, she transferred 2 experts at the Great Ascension stage from the country and made sufficient preparations before starting to attack the Black Tortoise institution. His guess was right. Since Li Tianba was no match for her, Li Mengyao sent a message back to the Azure Dragon Kingdom on the same day and urgently summoned 2 experts at the Great Ascension stage, Li Tianqua and Li Tianxiong. After Li Tianba disappeared for 2 days, she was sure that this matter must have something to do with the Ghost King sect. So, she secretly found the eldest prince Lu Hong and exaggerated the matter. Then, several kingdoms joined forces to attack the Black Tortoise institution. Luo Dongqing said inexplicably, "How could she be from the Ghost King sect?" "Dean Luo, don't pretend." Li Mengyao said with a sinister look, "She used the Nether Ghost Claw to defeat our Vice Dean Li Tianba that day. Besides the people of the Ghost King sect, who else could use the Nether Ghost Claw to such an extent?" This. Luo Dongqing didn't know how to deal with it. He turned his head and looked at Qin Haodong and Niuzuehua. Seeing that so many people were against her, Niuzuehua pulled Qin Haodong's arm and said, "Husband, what do they say have anything to do with me?" Qin Haodong's brain was spinning at high speed. He knew that today's matter was a bit troublesome. If it was just him and Niuzuehua, it would be fine. But now, this matter concerned the reputation of the entire Black Tortoise institution. Once it was confirmed that the Black Tortoise institution had something to do with the Ghost King sect, he was afraid that they would not be able to establish a foothold in the Lingwu continent in the future. And for now, his side was definitely at a disadvantage. If he couldn't explain himself, Luo Dongqing, the little witch, and the others would be implicated. Li Mengyao looked at him with a cold smile. "Qin, give me an explanation. Who is this woman?" Tu Jiaojiao, Murong Jinghong, and the others were very clear about Niuzuehua's background. Seeing that the identity of the Ghost King sect's great elder was exposed, they couldn't help but feel nervous. Qin Haodong hesitated for a moment and said, "She is my woman. She has nothing to do with the others in the Black Tortoise institution." "So you're saying that you're the only one who colluded with the Ghost King sect?" Li Mengyao only hated Qin Haodong now. She didn't have much hatred for the others in the Black Tortoise institution. She said to Luo Dongqing, "Dean Luo, I believe that you guys are also kept in the dark. Now, please step aside. Even if you don't participate in our encirclement against the Ghost King sect, don't come out and make trouble." Luo Dongqing said anxiously, "How is that possible? It's impossible for the students of our Black Tortoise institution to collude with the Ghost King sect." He looked at Qin Haodong and said, "Kid, what's going on? Hurry up and explain it to me." Qin Haodong glanced at Niuzuehua, who was tightly clinging to him. At this time, as a man, he couldn't leave this woman alone. He said, "Dean, this matter can't be explained in a few words. I will take responsibility for what I did." It has nothing to do with the Black Tortoise Institution. Luo Dongqing still said in disbelief, how is that possible? This girl can't be from the Ghost King sect. Is there some misunderstanding? Dean Luo, he admitted it himself. What misunderstanding can there be? I hope you guys don't get involved. Li Mengyao waved her hand behind her. Elders, attack. Li Tianxiong and Li Tianqua were already prepared. After hearing Li Mengyao's order, they immediately jumped toward Qin Haodong and Niu Zuihua. Both of them had reached the peak of the early stage of the Great Vehicle Realm. Any one of them was no weaker than Niu Zuihua. The two of them attacked at the same time, full of power. Niu Zuihua pulled Qin Haodong behind her. Husband, go quickly. After saying that, she suddenly stretched out her hands and used the nether ghost claw again. The huge claws blocked the attacks of the two masters of the Great Vehicle Realm. However, she was fighting against two at the same time. Naturally, she couldn't gain any advantage. After two muffled bangs, Niu Zuihua took a dozen steps back. Blood flowed from the corner of her mouth. Obviously, she had suffered internal injuries in this hard fight. Chapter 988. Qin Haodong hurried over to support her and asked with concern, how are you? Are you all right? Niu Zuihua shook her head and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. A smug look flashed across Li Mengyao's face as she said to the people around her, everyone saw it. Am I right? The Nether Ghost Claw is a move that only people from the Ghost King sect can use. Judging from her cultivation, her position in the sect is definitely not low. A look of astonishment flashed across Luo Dongqing's face. He was very familiar with the moves of the Ghost King sect, and Niu Zuihua's move actually gave him a familiar feeling. At the same time, he was extremely puzzled. How did Qin Haodong get involved with the Ghost King sect? A look of viciousness flashed across Lu Hong's face as he said to the people present, the Ghost King sect is hated by both humans and gods. This woman is the demoness of the Ghost King sect. Qin Haodong's collusion with the Ghost King sect is also unforgivable. Let the four kingdoms join forces and eliminate both of them. Kill them, and everyone from the Ghost King sect will be punished. Colluding with the Ghost King sect at such a young age, he will definitely be a great disaster in the future. Eliminate him quickly. Apart from the people from the Black Tortoise Academy, everyone present was calling for a beating. A look of satisfaction flashed across Yu Wanren's eyes. He was only a substitute in this exchange and did not even have the chance to fight. He had long hated Qin Haodong to the core. He sneered inwardly, let's see what you can do this time. Even old man Luo can't help you now that you're involved with the Ghost King sect. Li Mengyao shouted coldly, do it. With that, she led her people to besiege Qin Haodong and Niu Zuihua. Although Niu Zuihua was strong, there were 3 Mahayana stage experts and countless form synthesis stage experts. This kind of strength was definitely not something they could contend against. The little she-devil shouted anxiously, Grandpa, we can't watch little brother be bullied. Luo Dongqing's expression changed, but he finally said, girl, you have to behave. This concerns the Ghost King sect, the Black Tortoise Academy cannot help. Wait a minute. At this moment, Murong Jinghong stood out, everyone, I have to clarify this matter. Qin Haodong was definitely wronged. He has nothing to do with the Ghost King sect. Li Mengyao said with a cold smile, things are already in front of you. What else do you have to say? I'm not quibbling. I'm just stating a fact. Although Murong Jinghong seemed indifferent, he was actually extremely intelligent and knew that the situation today was extremely grim. In order to protect Qin Haodong, she had to tell the truth. She started from how Qin Haodong was taken away by the great elder of the Ghost King sect at the Suzaku Spirit Spring, and briefly told the whole story. I think you all know that this is the case. Junior brother Qin Haodong has nothing to do with the Ghost King sect. On the contrary, he suffered from it. After listening to his story, everyone was shocked. Murong Jinghong's story was even more bizarre than a story, yet no one could find any flaws in it. Niu Tsuihua was originally holding hands with Qin Haodong. After hearing Murong Jinghong's words, she said nervously, "Husband, is what she said true? Am I really the great elder of Ghost King sect? Are you really not my husband, and I'm not your wife?" At this moment, she was extremely nervous and her body was trembling slightly. She was not like this even when she was facing the two masters at the Deshang stage. In her eyes, Qin Haodong was her whole world, but now everything was going to be lost. Everything was fake. Looking at her heartbroken eyes, Qin Haodong couldn't bear to see her like this. Anyway, Niu Tsuihua had been sincere to him during the time they spent together. She had given all her feelings to him. Li Mengyao thought for a moment and said, "Maybe what you said is true, but Qin Haodong and the witch of the Ghost King sect killed our Vice Dean Li Tianba together. We have to settle this score." She had already determined that Li Tianba's death must have something to do with Qin Haodong and Niu Tsuihua. But at this moment, Niu Tsuihua's tearful eyes flashed with determination. She pushed Qin Haodong away and said, "I killed Li Tianba. It has nothing to do with Qin Haodong. If you want revenge, come to me alone." Li Mengyao said, "You killed him alone. How can I believe you?" Niu Tsuihua said, "Why not? Qin Haodong is only at the middle stage of the form synthesis. How could he be a match for a master at the Deshang stage? I killed Li Tianba alone." Seeing that the great elder of Ghost King's sect had abandoned her to protect Qin Haodong, Luo Dongqing was secretly surprised. But at this time, he naturally stood up to protect Qin Haodong. He said, "Everyone, we are all warriors. Of course, we know that a master at the form synthesis stage can't cause any substantial damage to a master at the Deshang stage, so I think this is credible." The others nodded. Although many people did not like Qin Haodong, the fact was that a master at the form synthesis stage could not break the genuine qi of a master at the Deshang stage. A fierce look flashed in Li Menyao's eyes. "Since the witch said she did it alone, then let's kill her first to avenge the Vice Dean." After that, she waved her hand. Li Tianxiong and Li Tianque rushed up again. Lu Xiaofu hesitated for a moment and finally joined the battle. The three of them joined forces to deal with Niu Tsuihua. Niu Tsuihua looked at Qin Haodong with great reluctance. Then, she raised her hand and pushed him dozens of meters away to meet the three people. Seeing that look, Qin Haodong felt pain in his heart as if it was cut by a knife. But he could do nothing. After all, his identity as a member of the Ghost King sect could not be cleared. It was not an exaggeration to say that the sky and earth changed color when four masters at the Deshang stage fought. The huge air wave pushed everyone 100 meters away. In terms of strength, Li Tianxiong, Li Tianque, and Lu Xiaofu had an absolute advantage. But each of them knew how terrible the dying strike of a master at the Deshang stage was. It would at least seriously injure them. So everyone was careful and did not rush to launch the final attack. Instead, they slowly consumed Niu Tsuihua's strength. As the fight went on, Niu Tsuihua's injuries became more and more serious. She spat out a few mouthfuls of blood and her face became paler. The robe on her body was torn by the strong qi, and her hair was scattered. She looked miserable with a trace of fierceness. At this moment, Li Tianxiong hit her in the face. Niu Tsuihua turned her head and dodged. Unfortunately, she was still a little too slow. The strong wind rolled the green flower on her head out and it fell on the ground more than 10 meters away. In the eyes of others, this was just a trivial matter, but Niu Tsuihua's expression changed greatly. "My Tsuihua!" With a shrill cry, she suddenly pounced towards the little green flower, not even caring about Li Tianque's palm strike from behind. When she grabbed the little green flower in her hand, Li Tianque gave her a solid pat on the back. Niu Tsuihua opened her mouth and spat out a big mouthful of blood, dyeing the whole flower in her hand red. But she seemed to have lost consciousness. She cried with a sad expression, "My Tsuihua, none of you can hurt it. This is my Tsuihua." As she spoke, she stuffed the flower into her mouth and swallowed it. This is my Tsuehua. Even if I die, you can't hurt it. After saying that, she smiled sadly and looked at the man again with her eyes full of sadness and reluctance. Everything she did, even at the cost of her life to protect her love, was all for Qin Haodong. Seeing this scene, Tu Jiaojiao, Fang Qiong, and the other girls felt sad and could not help crying. Although the woman in front of them was the first elder of the Ghost King sect, her sincere love was absolutely touching. Demon, go to hell. Li Tianxiong saw the opportunity. A shining dagger suddenly appeared in his hand and he stabbed it at Niu Zuehua's heart. At the same time, Li Tianhua also hit Niu Zuehua's back with his palm. Qin Haodong stood there, dumbfounded. Everything that happened between him and Niu Zuehua flashed in his mind like a movie. Husband, do you love me? I love you so much. Husband, I'm so scared. I'm afraid that I'll lose you one day. Husband, can you pluck it for me? Didn't you say that my name is Zuehua? That flower is emerald green. It suits me perfectly. At this moment, he felt a heart-wrenching pain in his heart. No, he could not let this woman die for him, no matter whether she was Niu Zuehua or the first elder of the Ghost King sect. Thinking of this, Qin Haodong's eyes flashed with determination. He used the Qi Men transposition skill. Seeing that the dagger in his hand was about to pierce the woman's chest, Li Tianxiong felt a sense of relief. Li Tianba was his younger brother, and now he could finally avenge him. However, at this moment, the dagger in his hand pierced the air. There was no feeling of flesh at all. Moreover, the scene in front of him changed. He could no longer see Niu Zuehua. He was standing hundreds of meters away. What's going on? Before he could figure out what had happened, Qin Haodong had already held Niu Zuehua in his arms and dodged Li Tianhua's palm with all his strength. He had dodged the palm, but Li Tianhua was a Mahayana stage expert. The wind from the palm still landed on his back. Qin Haodong felt his chest heat up, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. However, he did not dare to stay. He used his mind and hid in the 7th stage pagoda with Niu Zuehua. What's going on? Where are they? Li Tianxiong and the others were shocked. How did the two of them suddenly disappear? They spread out their divine senses and searched the area within 1,000 meters, but they still could not find them. Bastard, search them all. We can't let them escape. I want to see them alive, and I want to see their corpses. Li Mengyao ordered the guards behind her, and they immediately started searching the area within a 5-kilometer radius. Although Murong Jinghong had cleared Qin Haodong's name, she had already guessed that this man would definitely not watch Niu Zuehua die. He would definitely send her over. Everything had gone according to her plan, but unfortunately, the final outcome had changed. Now, the two of them had disappeared, and no one knew where they were hiding. At the same time, a bad feeling rose in her heart. If she could not kill Qin Haodong and Niu Zuehua today, her days in the future would not be easy. Lu Hong looked at Luo Dongqing. Dean Luo, your student is still involved with the witch from the Ghost King sect. Seeing that Qin Haodong had escaped, Luo Dongqing heaved a sigh of relief and said, unfortunately, I had no choice. Actually, this student has only joined our school for a short time, so I don't know much about him. Li Mengyao said, no matter what, he is still a student of your school. You should know him well. How did they escape just now? Luo Dongqing did not know the secret of the 7th stage pagoda, but the little witch, Luo Hongying, and the others knew it very well. They had entered it more than once. At this moment, Tu Jiaojiao said, I know where they went. Chapter 989. The little she-devil hurriedly shouted, Sister Jiaojiao, what are you doing? How could you betray little brother? The eldest prince, Lu Hong, said angrily, Qin Haodong is now colluding with the Ghost King sect's witch. Are you going to protect him? First prince is right. Since he is related to the Ghost King sect, there is no need for us to hide anything from him. Tu Jiaojiao winked at the little witch and said, Qin Haodong once told us that he has the ability to teleport himself hundreds of miles away. However, this kind of ability consumes a great deal of true essence, and even consumes one's own true essence. Generally, unless there is no other choice, one will not use it. Li Mengyao said in disbelief, teleportation of 100 miles? Is that true? I'm afraid that even masters of the Deshang stage can't do it, right? Tu Jiaojiao didn't have a good impression of this woman and said coldly, anyway, I've already said it. It's up to you whether you believe it or not. The little she-devil understood Tu Jiaojiao's intention and immediately heaved a sigh of relief. Then, she said, it's up to you to believe it or not. Anyway, we've already said it. From the bottom of her heart, Li Mengyao didn't really believe Tu Jiaojiao and the others. But apart from the teleportation theory, they really couldn't find any reason for Qin Haodong's disappearance. After secretly discussing with Lu Hong, she said to the people around her, expand the search scope immediately. We must find the boy surnamed Qin. Lu Hong said to the people of the 4 academies, everyone, I'm sorry. Such a big thing happened today. The people of the Ghost King sect suddenly appeared, so we can only temporarily stop using the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. Everyone, please go back first. No one had any objections to this, and they all dispersed. The little she-devil said, Sister Jiaojiao, you are really smart. You know how to use this method to divert their attention. Tu Jiaojiao said, there's no other way. You know the characteristics of the 7th stage pagoda. If we don't lure them away, there will be trouble when Haodong comes out. Murong Jinghong said worriedly, I saw Haodong vomiting blood. I don't know if he's seriously injured. Is he in danger? Yun Shanxian said, he should be fine. His medical skills are so good, and no one will disturb him there. He will recover from his injury. Luo Dongqing was confused and asked, what are you talking about? Why can't I understand a single word? It's only right that you don't understand. Of course, the little witch would not tell Qin Haodong's secret, not even to her own grandfather. She said, don't interrupt the children's conversation, old man. You damned girl, are you trying to rebel? Luo Dongqing glared at the little she-devil and said to Tu Jiaojiao and the others, you guys know where that kid went, right? The girls didn't say anything and just nodded. He said again, well, since he's not in danger, let's go back to Black Tortoise Academy first. The little she-devil shouted, how can we do that? We haven't found little big brother yet, how can we go back by ourselves? Luo Dongqing said angrily, do you think they will just let it go if they can't find him? Those people will definitely be watching us secretly. If you go and meet up with him now, not only will you not be able to help, you will also be harming him. The little demoness wanted to retort, but she felt that her grandfather's words made sense. Tu Jiaojiao said, the dean is right. We can't help here. On the contrary, it will make it easier for him to be exposed. Let's go back to Black Tortoise Academy first. Everyone made up their minds. Murong Jinghong said to He Ziwei, Miss He, things are done here. We'll go back to Black Tortoise Kingdom first. He Ziwei said worriedly, can you tell me where he is? Murong Jinghong said, I'm sorry, I can't tell you. Even if I tell you, you won't be able to find him. You just need to know that he's safe now. Well, we'll meet again if we have a chance. Although He Ziwei was worried, there was no other way. She could only say goodbye to everyone and return to the general's mansion. Luo Dongqing took everyone and flew in the direction of Black Tortoise Academy. Qin Haodong fainted as soon as he entered the 7-order pagoda. The palm of a Deshang stage master was extremely powerful. Although it did not directly hit his back, it still caused him severe internal injuries. If Li Tianqua's palm had hit his back, he would have been dead by now. After an unknown period of time, he slowly opened his eyes. He was lying in the pagoda while Nyotsuehua sat quietly beside him. At this time, Nyotsuehua seemed to have recovered a lot from her injuries. Her delicate face was clean and her hair was meticulously combed. She looked extremely beautiful. However, Qin Haodong was secretly surprised when he saw her. Niu Zuehua was like a different person. She exuded a powerful aura and her eyes became sharper. "You're awake?" Niu Zuehua looked at him with a strange expression. Qin Haodong moved slightly, but he felt pain all over his body. His internal injuries had not recovered yet. Niu Zuehua looked at him with a playful expression and said, "Husband, when are you going to marry me?" Looking at her eyes, Qin Haodong's heart trembled and he exclaimed, "You've recovered your memory?" At the same time, he also understood what was going on. At the end of the battle, Niu Zuehua had swallowed the flower of the soul awakening grass. The soul awakening grass had healed her damaged spirit and restored her memory. Niu Zuehua said, "I didn't expect you to be so playful. You actually said that I'm your wife and you're my husband. You even took advantage of me. Do you think I should kill you now?" As she spoke, she exuded a powerful aura. It was as if she had become the great elder of the Ghost King sect again. Qin Haodong was shocked. What he was worried about had happened. He hurriedly operated the genuine qi in his body. Unfortunately, his internal injuries had not recovered yet. Under the attack of the qi and blood, he spat out another mouthful of blood. Seeing him spit out blood, Niu Zuehua quickly said with concern, "Husband, are you okay? I was just playing with you. Have a good rest and don't affect your internal injuries." Playing with you?" Qin Haodong wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, looked at her in surprise and said, "You haven't recovered your memory?" Niu Zuehua helped him lie down slowly and then said, "I've recovered. I caught you from the Xuanwu Kingdom. I originally wanted to force you to tell me how to improve your cultivation quickly, but I ended up falling into your trap." Qin Haodong said in surprise, "Then why did you?" In his heart, he had been pretending to be the husband of the great elder during this period of time and had kissed this woman several times. Logically speaking, the great elder should have been furious and wanted to kill him, but now it seemed that this was not the case. Niu Zuehua sighed and sat down beside him. "Although I've recovered my previous memory, I still have the memory of being with you during this period of time. If it were in the past, I would definitely kill you, but now..." Speaking of this, she turned to look at Qin Haodong. "Do you love me or not?" Qin Haodong didn't know how to answer for a moment. He didn't know what kind of feelings he had for Niu Zuehua. "In fact, I know even if you don't tell me. At the critical moment, you can sacrifice your life for me. This has already given me the answer." A strange smile appeared on Niu Zuehua's face. "It's really fate that makes fools of people. It's also an ill-fated relationship between us. I always thought that I would not fall in love with any man, but after I met you, I completely fell for you. Although I've recovered my memory now, some things can't be changed. Whether I admit it or not, whether I have the previous memory or not, you are the only man I have ever called my husband, the only man I have ever kissed, and the only man I have ever loved." Qin Haodong listened quietly, and a strong sense of love rose in his heart. Only then did he realize that he had also fallen in love with this woman, but he had been suppressed by the fear of the great elder of the Ghost King sect. Niu Zuehua looked at him again and said, "There is a tradition in our hometown that women will never remarry and will never fall in love with two men in their lifetime. Now I have two choices, either to kill you or to make you my husband. What do you think I should choose?" Qin Haodong said, "Since you asked this, then you already have the answer. Although you have a lot of women, you know a girl's mind very well." Niu Zuehua reached out to touch his cheek and said, "When facing those people, I could die for you. Although I've recovered my memory now, it's the same. You are still the person I love the most. How can I be willing to kill you? In this case, I can only make you my husband. It's a pity that your body is too weak now. Take the time to recover." Qin Haodong's heart was full of emotion, and his eyes became hot. He kept walking up and down Niu Zuehua's sexy body. "Do you mean, as long as my injury is healed?" Niu Zuehua's cheeks turned red. She said, "Last time I took the initiative to come to you, but you didn't want me. Now I won't let you go. Qin Haodong took her hand and said, at that time, I was afraid that you would regret it after you recovered your memory. Niu Zuihua said, now you don't even have the chance to regret it. After that, the two of them recuperated in the slaughter tower together. 3 days later, their injuries were completely healed. Qin Haodong took Niu Zuihua's hand and said, do you think those people are still waiting outside? Although 3 days had passed, he did not dare to go out casually. If he fell into the hands of Li Tianxiong and the others again, he would not be able to escape. I don't care about them. Anyway, I can't wait. Niu Zuihua said as she turned over and pressed Qin Haodong under her body. No matter what happens outside, no matter what happens in the future, I want you to be my husband today. Otherwise, if you run away one day, I will suffer a great loss. I have a husband, but I'm not a real woman. After saying that, she waved her hands and soon their clothes flew to the side. For a moment, the room in the 7th stage pagoda was filled with spring. After a long time, the clouds and rain stopped. Qin Haodong held Niu Zuihua tightly in his arms. By the way, you haven't told me your name yet. Niu Zuihua lay on his chest and said, didn't you already give me a name, Niu Zuihua? That's not very good. The name is a bit too old-fashioned. It doesn't match you. What was your original name? Qin Haodong had just said such a name casually. It was a bit of a prank. At that time, he had never thought that the great elder of the Ghost King's sect would become his woman. Niu Zuihua said, I think that's a good name. It has a special meaning for us. I won't change it in the future. I'll be called Niu Zuihua. Okay then. Qin Haodong said helplessly, what's your plan? Will you return to the Ghost King's sect in the future? Niu Zuihua said, why? Do you want to get rid of me so soon? Qin Haodong said, no, I'm just a little worried that your identity will affect us being together. Of course it will. Zuihua said, I'm afraid my brother won't agree to marry a poor boy like you. Qin Haodong said, stop it. You don't have a brother. I made that up. Niu Zuihua looked up at him with a teasing expression and said, you're right. I do have a brother, Li Tianxing, the master of the Ghost King sect. Chapter 990. The news was like thunder exploding in Qin Haodong's ears. It took him a long time to come to his senses. Are you sure you mean it? Niu Zuihua said, of course it's true. Otherwise, how do you think I became the first elder of the Ghost King sect? Isn't it because of your high cultivation that you became the great elder? Niu Zuihua shook her head. In terms of cultivation, the second elder and the third elder are higher than me. The reason why I'm ranked first is that my brother is the master of the sect. Will he agree to let us be together? What do you think? Of course not. Qin Haodong was speechless. He didn't expect that the story he made up would eventually come true. The first elder of the Ghost King sect did become his wife, and she really had a powerful brother who didn't agree with this marriage. At the same time, he also understood why Niu Zuihua could be as pure as a lotus in a place like the Ghost King sect. It turned out that she had such a powerful backer. Looking at his shocked and helpless expression, Niu Zuihua smiled and said, you don't have to worry. The reason why I was the first elder of the Ghost King's sect was that I had nothing to do, so I played with my brother. Now that I have you as my husband, I don't want to be the first elder of the Ghost King's sect anymore. I'll go wherever you go in the future. Qin Haodong calmed himself down and said with a smile, aren't you afraid that I'll sell you? Niu Zuihua kissed him on the cheek and said, you risked your life to get me back. Are you willing to do that? Of course not. Qin Haodong held her in his arms and said, but you have to change your appearance in the future. At the same time, you can't use the Ghost King sect's nether ghost claw anymore. Otherwise, it will be easy to be discovered. It was a very embarrassing thing to be with the first elder of the Ghost King sect. They couldn't be discovered by the people of the Four Kingdoms or the Ghost King sect. Otherwise, it would cause endless trouble. Nyotsuhua said, okay, whatever you say. I'll listen to you. Really? Then let's challenge a difficult position, such as a split. Qin Haodong turned over and pressed Nyotsuehua under his body. Once again, he did something indescribable. In the following period of time, Qin Haodong chose some martial arts moves suitable for Nyotsuehua and taught them to her. When they were free, they would make love together. Sweet time always passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, a week had passed. Qin Haodong said, we should go out and have a look. I don't think those people will stay here forever. Qin Haodong said, don't you want to go out as soon as possible? Qin Haodong said, don't you want to go? Qin Haodong said, don't you? Don's boring staying here all day. Don, don't you feel it? Chio's here. Real will. Don't worry. You're my wife no matter where we go. It's the same here and outside. Qin Haodong said, there are still many things waiting for me to do outside. We have to go out eventually. All right then, I'll listen to you. But before I leave this place, I want to squeeze you dry. Nyotsuhua pushed Qin Haodong to the ground again. 2 hours later, two figures suddenly appeared in the quiet night sky. They were Qin Haodong and Nyotsuehua, who were hiding in the 7-stage pagoda. As soon as they appeared, they were on full alert. Qin Haodong even spread out his powerful spirit and cautiously scanned the surroundings. Soon, he found that it was quiet and there were no people from the 4 kingdoms guarding here. It seems that they've left. Nyotsuehua breathed a sigh of relief. Although she had a high cultivation, she couldn't face 3 masters at the Desheng stage at the same time. Husband, let's get out of here. Qin Haodong said, since they've left, let's not rush. Nyotsuehua put her arms around his neck and said, what are you going to do? You don't want to stay here with them, do you? Qin Haodong was speechless. This woman had tasted the sweetness of love and was never tired of the thing between men and women. The kingdom of Vermilion Bird made us suffer a lot this time. We have to earn some interest. Husband, I'll listen to you. What do you think we should do? Assassinate the king of the kingdom of Vermilion Bird? We won't get any benefits from killing people. There's no need to take such a big risk. Qin Haodong said, since we've already come to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring, we can't come here for nothing. We have to cultivate well. Nyotsuhua said, husband, that won't do. The Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring is heavily guarded. Once the spiritual qi in the spring changes, it will immediately attract the masters of the kingdom of Vermilion Bird. At that time, not to mention absorbing the spiritual qi, I'm afraid escaping will be a problem. It's okay. I've already thought of a way. Just come with me. Nyotsuehua said, okay, I'll listen to you. Qin Haodong took Nyotsuehua to a secluded place nearby. First, he made a simple disguise for them and changed their clothes. At this time, even if they met the little witch, they would not be able to recognize them. Everything was ready. Only then did they quietly approach the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. Qin Haodong's goal this time was not the small spirit spring next to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring, but the main spirit spring. He wanted to see how much his cultivation would improve after absorbing the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. Just as Nyotsuehua said, the closer they got to the spirit spring, the tighter the defense became. However, their cultivation was not something ordinary soldiers could detect. Soon, they got closer and closer to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. It was worthy of being one of the 4 spirit springs of the Lingwu continent. They could already feel the rich spiritual qi from a few miles away. At the center, the spiritual qi was almost condensed. With a casual breath, they could absorb a large amount of spiritual qi into their bodies. When they arrived at the side of the spirit spring, the two stopped. At the center of the spirit spring, there were no more guards. It was quiet all around. In the middle of the dense spiritual qi in front of them, there was a huge spirit pool with a radius of hundreds of square meters. The pool was not made of water, but pure spiritual qi. From afar, it looked like a huge piece of jade. It looked incomparably beautiful. Qin Haodong forcibly suppressed the urge to cultivate in his heart. He took out the formation flag from the storage ring and began to set up a formation around the vermilion bird spirit spring. Soon, a large illusion formation was set up. This illusion formation completely simulated the surrounding environment of the vermilion bird spirit spring. Even if there was no trace of spiritual qi inside, it would still look like it was surrounded by spiritual qi from the outside. After doing all this, Qin Haodong pulled Nyotsuehua and the two flew to the top of the spirit pool. They sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. With the operation of greenwood genuine qi, the surrounding spiritual qi seemed to have found an exit. It rushed into his body like rivers flowing into the sea. The speed was thousands of times faster than usual. Moreover, the spiritual qi was extremely rich, as if it was inexhaustible. On the other side, Nyotsuehua also entered a state of cultivation. She was now only one step away from the middle stage of Mahayana realm. She believed that she would soon be able to break through here. As time passed, Qin Haodong's body became more and more vigorous. With a crisp sound, he broke through to the late stage of the unity realm. For an ordinary person, this was already a great improvement, but he did not stop and continued to adjust the genuine qi in his body to break through to the peak of the unity realm. Both of them were wholeheartedly cultivating and did not notice the changes in the vermilion bird spirit pool. If there was someone standing next to them at this time, they would definitely be shocked. In the vermilion bird spirit pool, the pool water condensed by spiritual qi was actually decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. 1 millimeter, 2 millimeters, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 1 inch, 2 inches. As they absorbed more and more, the remaining pool water became less and less. As the pool water decreased, the surrounding spiritual qi also began to thin. However, due to the existence of the illusion formation, no change could be seen from the outside. It was still dense with spiritual qi. 2 kilometers away from the vermilion bird spirit pool, there was a bamboo building built on a small mound. Inside the bamboo building, a 40 or 50-year-old general was sitting cross-legged and cultivating. He was Yuan Shu, the chief person in charge of guarding the spirit spring. Guarding the vermilion bird spirit pool was definitely a good job. Usually, there was nothing to do and he could cultivate in peace. Moreover, the spiritual qi here was rich, so the speed of cultivation was countless times faster than outside. Yuan Shu had used his relationship with the queen to get this good job that everyone envied. He had already reached the body integration great circle. As long as he cultivated for a period of time, he would definitely be able to break through the bottleneck of the great ascension stage. The vermilion bird spirit pool was extremely important to the vermilion bird kingdom. The reason why only a body integration realm general was stationed here was because of the spirit spring's special characteristics. Once there was a change in the spiritual qi, it would immediately be sensed and a large number of experts would rush over. Yuan Shu was cultivating in peace when he suddenly felt that the density of the spiritual qi in the surroundings had decreased by a lot. His cultivation speed was also not as fast as usual. What's going on? Could it be that my condition today isn't good? He shook his head and ended his cultivation. Then, he began to patrol the outside. He walked around the vermilion bird spirit spring and found that everything was the same as usual. However, for some reason, he had a bad feeling in his heart. What's going on? With doubts in his heart, he continued to walk around. Guarding the vermilion bird spirit spring was a good job, but it also had a great responsibility. If something were to happen here, then even 10 heads wouldn't be enough to chop off. After walking around a few more times, he was suddenly shocked. He finally felt that something was wrong. In the past, when he stood beside the vermilion bird spirit pool, even if he didn't cultivate, the spiritual qi would still rush into his body like a tide. However, he didn't feel that way today. The surrounding spiritual qi seemed to be dense and lingering, but it was all an illusion. In fact, it was much thinner than before. Not good, there's something wrong with the spirit spring. This is an illusion formation set up by someone. As a body integration realm expert, he had basic eyesight. He immediately realized what was going on. He took out a special whistling arrow from the Vermilion Bird Kingdom from his storage ring and shot it into the sky. After the whistling arrow rose into the sky, it made a crisp sound, and then a dazzling light illuminated half of the sky. In the spirit spring, Qin Haodong absorbed more and more spiritual qi. Finally, there was another loud bang in his body. His cultivation had broken through to the body integration realm. At the same time, a powerful aura suddenly spread out beside him. He opened his eyes and looked to the side. He saw that Nyotsuehua's aura was getting stronger and stronger. It seemed that she had broken through to the middle Deshang stage. Qin Haodong was overjoyed. He had advanced by 2 levels, and Nyotsuehua had advanced by 1. It seemed that this trip was not in vain. At the same time, he also noticed that the spiritual qi here was much thinner than before. Looking down at his feet, the originally bottomless pool was only a foot deep. It was only a step away from drying up. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. The consumption of spiritual qi for 2 people to cultivate together was really huge. He naturally understood that he couldn't kill the goose that laid the golden eggs. He couldn't destroy the spirit spring for his own selfishness. Moreover, the remaining spirit spring wasn't enough for him to break through to the Deshang stage. Adding updates for Fat Cat rolling around. It's been a bit long. I owe you 1 chapter and 2 chapters. Chapter 991. At this time, Nyotsuehua also slowly opened her eyes and looked at Qin Haodong with a sweet smile. Husband, your method is really good. I finally broke through to the middle stage of the Deshang realm. This time it's really profitable. Qin Haodong said, let's hurry up and leave. We've used up more than half of the spiritual spring this time. If we stay here for too long, it will definitely attract the attention of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. So what? Now that they're here, I can take revenge for what I did to him. He actually beat my husband until he vomited blood. I'm going to break his bones. At this moment, Nyotsuehua resumed the overbearing manner of Ghost King's sect Great Elder. The most important thing was that she had the confidence. At this moment, she was already a master in the middle Deshang stage, and she did not put Lu Xiaofu and others in her eyes. Qin Haodong said, it's better for us to leave. Although you have broken through now, there must be masters at the middle stage of the Great Vehicle Realm in the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. As the 2 of them were talking, the sky above their heads was suddenly illuminated by a whistling arrow. Qin Haodong's expression changed. No, they've found us. Let's go. After saying that, the 2 of them quickly left the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring and arrived outside. Just as they left the illusion array, they saw Yuan Shu and his men standing guard. Brat, you actually dare to come to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring to cause trouble, go die. Yuan Shu had already realized the seriousness of the problem. The Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring had suddenly lost so much spiritual energy, he would have to bear the wrath of the Vermilion Bird royal family. The most important thing right now was to capture the 2 people in front of him. Only then would there be hope of reducing the punishment. He roared and slashed at Qin Haodong with the long knife in his hand. A grain of rice dares to shine. After improving her cultivation, Nyotsuehua was very heroic. She didn't need Qin Haodong to do anything at all. She just waved her sleeves, and Yuan Shu flew back hundreds of meters like a fly that had been hit hard. A large part of his chest collapsed, and he spat out mouthfuls of blood. One was in the great perfection of the void refining realm and the other was in the middle Deshang stage. The gap between the 2 was too big. Who are you? Looking at the 2 unfamiliar faces in front of him, Yuan Shu didn't know when such experts had appeared in the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Go ask the King of Hell. Growing up in the Ghost King's sect, Nyotsuehua had never been a soft-hearted person. Her gentleness only belonged to Qin Haodong. She raised 2 fingers and flicked them at Yuan Shu. A sharp force instantly pierced through his chest, causing a stream of blood to spurt out. Ah! Yuan Shu let out a blood-curdling scream as he fell to the ground with a plop. There was no need for the Vermilion Bird royal family to question him, for he had already lost his life. Seeing that their commander was dead, the surrounding guards roared furiously and charged forward together. These people had been guarding the Vermilion Bird spirit spring all year round. They usually practiced a set of joint attacks, and their combined power was astonishing. It was a pity that they were facing a master in the middle Deshang stage. The huge strength gap was not something that could be made up by the joint attack technique. Die, all of you. Niu Zuehua was seriously injured by the joint attack, and Qin Haodong almost lost his life in order to save her. At this time, he vented his anger on these guards. In the blink of an eye, the guards seemed to have been blown away. They flew back at a speed that was even faster than when they came, and there were countless casualties. Qin Haodong said, "Let's go, these people are just guards." The anger in Niu Zuehua's heart calmed down a little. Just as the 2 of them were about to leave, suddenly dozens of figures rushed here and instantly surrounded them. Where did this junior come from, daring to offend our Vermilion Bird spirit spring? Qin Haodong frowned. There was really someone who took the initiative to rush over to die. The person who came was the Vice Dean of the Vermilion Bird Academy, Lu Xiaofu. The Vermilion Bird Academy was closer to the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring than the Vermilion Bird Royal City, so after receiving the alarm, Lu Xiaofu took the lead to rush over. But at this time, Qin Haodong and Niu Zuehua had changed their appearances, so she did not recognize the 2 people in front of her. She did not know Niu Zuehua, but Niu Zuehua knew her. The anger that had just subsided in her heart instantly burned again. "Old woman, go to hell." Niu Zuehua instantly came in front of Lu Xiaofu and raised her hand to smash out. One palm shot out, thunder rolled, and thunder rumbled. Rushing Thunder Palm. This was the new move that Qin Haodong taught her, used to cover up the identity of the Ghost King sect. Although the Rushing Thunder Palm was not as smooth as the Nether Ghost Claw, Niu Zuehua's cultivation level was there. The middle stage of the Deshang stage was already a level higher than Lu Xiaofu. Feeling the strong momentum of the other party, Lu Xiaofu was shocked. Where did the middle stage of the Deshang stage come from? At this time, it was too late for her to hide. She could only clench her teeth and push out her palm. The 2 palms collided together, and a muffled bang was heard, followed by a cracking sound. Lu Xiaofu's arm was abruptly broken. Niu Zuehua did not stop after one move, and then lifted her leg and kicked Lu Xiaofu's lower abdomen. "Get out of here." This kick was full of power, directly breaking through Lu Xiaofu's body protection, kicking her hundreds of meters away, and fiercely hitting a cliff in the distance. Only to hear a loud bang, the dust flew, and stones splashed. The Vice Dean of the Vermilion Bird Academy, a master of the Deshang stage, lost his breath for a while, and no one knew whether he was dead or alive. The people that Lu Xiaofu brought with her were already dumbfounded. This woman was too fierce. She actually defeated the Vice Dean in one move, and her attack was incomparably fierce. Where did this master come from? Just when these people were at a loss, dozens of figures flew from the direction of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Those people were still dozens of miles away from here, but they could already feel their strong momentum. A middle stage of the Deshang stage with 2 early stage masters, the Vermilion Bird Kingdom really did have a middle stage master of the Deshang stage. Qin Haodong knew that they could not stay here any longer, or else the masters of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom would be more and more, and they would be trapped here. He said to Niu Zuehua, "Don't be obsessed with fighting, let's go." "Okay." Niu Zuehua pulled Qin Haodong and was just about to leave, but the speed of the other side's master of the Deshang stage was too fast, and they had already arrived in front of them like a meteor. The leader was an old man with white hair and beard. After arriving in front of the 2 of them, without saying a word, a big hand made of true qi grabbed the 2 of them. Niu Zuehua did not show weakness, and quickly turned her true chi into a huge iron fist to meet it. Boom! There was only an earth-shattering noise, and the head-on collision of the two masters of the Desheng stage suddenly sounded like a bomb exploding here, and the violent chi of heaven and earth blew the surrounding people like fallen leaves. Although Nyotsuehua had reached the middle stage of the Desheng stage, she had just entered this realm not long ago, and compared with the old man, she was still a little worse. She grabbed Qin Haodong's belt with one hand, and kept flying back hundreds of meters. Go! Qin Haodong shouted. He knew that this was the best chance to escape, and if they did not leave now, it would really be too late. Nyotsuehua tasted the strength of the other side, and no longer continued to fight. She grabbed Qin Haodong and turned into a stream of light, speeding away into the distance. Unexpectedly, he is also in the middle stage of the Desheng stage. The white-haired old man's face flashed a touch of fierceness, and he shouted to the two middle stage masters beside him, "Chase me, this kind of person must not be left alive." Then the three people quickly chased in the direction of Qin Haodong's escape. Qin Haodong's cultivation was only at the form synthesis stage, and compared with the masters of the Desheng stage, he was still too slow, and he was carried by Nyotsuehua. But in this way, his speed was more or less affected, and the three people behind him were getting closer and closer. If he was really surrounded by three masters of the Desheng stage, he was afraid that today would be really troublesome, and more masters from the Vermilion Bird Kingdom would come. Nyotsuehua said with some embarrassment, "Husband, it's all my fault. It would have been better if I had not entangled with those people. Don't talk about the past." Qin Haodong knew that the urgent task was to stop the three people behind him, so he said, "Fly steadily with me, and try not to shake up and down." "Oh." Nyotsuehua agreed, and tried to fly as fast and as stable as possible. At this time, Qin Haodong turned around and took out the anti-material sniper rifle from the storage ring. This Barrett anti-material sniper rifle weighed 28 kilograms, and ordinary people had to put it on the ground to use. But Qin Haodong was different. He was a master at the peak of the form synthesis stage, and this weight was not much different from a toothpick in his hand. The three people behind saw Qin Haodong turn around, and there was a strange thing in his hand. The bearded man on the left asked, "What is this kid holding? It looks strange." The white-haired old man gritted his teeth and said, "Why do you care so much? They destroyed our Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring, and today these two people must die." After reaching the middle stage of the Desheng stage, his spirit was extremely powerful. Although he had just stayed in the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring for a short time, he had already felt how serious the loss of spiritual chi there was. The Spirit Spring was the foundation of a kingdom, and even the Vermilion Bird royal family was reluctant to use it excessively. Today, more than half of it was used up, which made him extremely angry. The thin and tall man on the right said, "Don't worry, Great Elder, this kid can't run away." As he was speaking, he heard a muffled bang in the air, and then a sharp pain came from his left leg. Originally, with the strength of his protective genuine chi, even a sniper rifle bullet blessed by the mysterious evil condensing furnace could not break it. It was a pity that most of the genuine chi in his body was used to fly at high speed, so the protective genuine chi was naturally much weaker. Qin Haodong seized the opportunity and shot his left knee. "What is this? I'm injured." The tall and thin old man was shocked. He had a respected status in the Vermilion Bird Kingdom, and he had never been injured since he entered the Desheng stage. Moreover, the protective genuine chi of the Desheng stage was extremely strong, and even a treasure sword could not break it. He didn't know what the young man was holding in his hand. After being injured, he hurriedly operated the genuine chi in his body and raised the strength of the protective genuine chi to the extreme. However, this naturally slowed down, and he fell behind the other two people. The bearded man was also shocked and said, "Great Elder, what should we do?" "What are you afraid of? I don't believe that he can still succeed, and we are prepared." As soon as the white-haired old man finished speaking, there was another muffled bang, and a bloody hole appeared on the bearded man's left shoulder. It turned out that in this state of high-speed flight, they could not resist the lethality of the Barrett sniper rifle. This time, the bearded old man was also afraid. Fortunately, this thing hurt his shoulder. If it was his head, it would be over. He hurriedly adjusted the protective genuine chi to the strongest, and the speed of the chase immediately slowed down. In fact, Qin Haodong could shoot the two people in the head with one shot, but that was bound to make the white-haired old man fight to the death. That was a strong man in the middle stage of the Desheng stage. Even if he had a sniper rifle in his hand, he could not compete with the other party. The white-haired old man's eyes flashed a touch of astonishment. He had lived for hundreds of years, and he had never seen an artifact that hurt people in this way. Just as he was in a daze, there was another muffled bang. A golden sniper rifle bullet flew toward his chest. Chapter 992. The speed of the bullet was too fast. Even if he wanted to dodge, it was too late. However, having learned his lesson from the previous incident, the white-haired old man immediately reacted and quickly strengthened his protective jinchi. After a bang, the sniper rifle bullet hit his chest. The sniper rifle bullet hit his chest, but it was blocked by the tyrannical protective jinchi, and only left a bloody mark on his skin. Although a bloody mark was nothing to a Mahayana expert, it was enough to make the white-haired old man pale with fright. In other words, if he didn't react in time, this strange thing could hurt him. While he was distracted, Nyotsuehua had already brought Qin Haodong far away. The two figures disappeared into the dark night. Soon, the two were 100 miles away. After confirming that it was safe, Nyotsuehua let out a long sigh. Improving her cultivation was a good thing, but it wasn't invincible. The four kingdoms of the Lingwu continent all had their own deep foundations. After stopping, she asked, "Husband, where are we going next?" She wasn't going back to the Ghost King sect. She wanted to stay by Qin Haodong's side. "Let's go to the Azure Dragon Kingdom. That girl Li Mengyao gave us so much trouble. We have to get some interest from them." Nyotsuehua said, "That's a good suggestion. Those two old men hurt me. I have to take revenge." Qin Haodong said, "But before we go to the Azure Dragon Kingdom, we have to go to He Zhanghai's house and say goodbye to Ziwei." No matter what, he was the man He Ziwei chose for the contest. He couldn't just leave without saying anything. Nyotsuehua said, "But we made such a big scene in the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Is it safe to go back now?" "It's okay. In my hometown, there's a saying, it's dark under the light. The more dangerous the place, the safer it is. Right now, the entire Vermilion Bird Kingdom is at the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. The royal city is the safest place." After saying that, the two turned around and flew in the direction of the Vermilion Bird Kingdom. Although it was late at night, He Ziwei was still sitting in front of the window, unable to sleep. After meeting Qin Haodong, she thought she had found the most important person in her life. But in the end, Qin Haodong mysteriously disappeared from the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. She just heard that something big happened at the Vermilion Bird Spirit Spring. He Zhanghai brought people there. She didn't know if it had anything to do with Qin Haodong. "Where are you? Is it safe? How are you doing?" Just as she was muttering to herself, there was a sudden commotion in the general's mansion. Sounds of fighting and cursing could be heard continuously. What was going on? Someone actually invaded the general's mansion? Puzzled, he came to the door and saw that the guards of the prince's mansion had suffered heavy casualties. Dozens of men in black stood in the courtyard. The leader was a man in black with a golden mask. He exuded a powerful aura. He had reached the early Desheng stage. He Ziwei was very familiar with these people. They were from the Ghost King sect. It seems like these people took advantage of the situation at the Black Tortoise Spirit Spring to launch a sneak attack on the general manor. "Little girl, it's best if you come out by yourself." The golden-masked man looked at He Ziwei and said, "I think you know why we are here. I am the 7th elder of the Ghost King sect. Hand over the black demon bead and we will spare your life. He Ziwei said, I don't know what the black demon pearl is, and I don't have it in my hands. Little girl, this is very unwise. It will anger me. The seventh elder's figure flashed and appeared in front of He Ziwei. He reached out and strangled her neck. There was a great disparity in cultivation between the two. In the face of an expert of the Desheng stage, He Ziwei had no ability to resist. Little girl, killing you is like crushing an ant. The seventh elder let go of her neck and said coldly, I will give you one more chance. Hurry up and hand over the black demon bead. He Ziwei said I don't have it. Even if you kill me, you won't have it. We have received accurate news that He Changqing has handed over the black demon bead to you. The seventh elder said in a cold voice, I will now count to 3. If you don't hand over the black demon bead, I will immediately strip you naked. If you still refuse to come to your senses, you should know what the consequences are. Remember what our Ghost King sect is best at. We will suck you dry. After that, he began to count down, 3, 2, 1 inch. After counting the last number, the seventh elder was about to make a move when he heard someone next to him shouting, let's see who dares to touch her. The seventh elder turned his head and saw another black-clothed man with a golden mask appearing in the courtyard. First elder, why are you here? We couldn't find you during this time. The sect master was worried. The seventh elder said and hurried over to bow to Nyotsuehua. When Qin Haodong and Nyotsuehua arrived at the general's mansion, they happened to see the scene in front of them. In order not to cause too much noise, he asked Nyotsuehua to reveal her identity. Nyotsuehua said coldly, what are you doing here? The seventh elder said, First elder, I am tracking the whereabouts of the black demon bead. Nyotsuehua said, let her go. You don't have to worry about things here. This. The seventh elder hesitated and said, First elder, I have confirmed that a black demon bead is in the hands of the He family. Nyotsuehua said discontentedly, don't you understand what I said? Hurry up and let him go. But, this is the task given by the sect master. The seventh elder was obviously not willing to give up like this. I will naturally talk to the sect master. I don't want to repeat myself. As Nyotsuehua said, a strong momentum suddenly broke out. The seventh elder was shocked. Originally, Nyotsuehua was the sect master's sister, so she sat in the position of first elder. He did not expect that she had reached the middle stage of Desheng in a few days. The Ghost King's sect had always respected the strong. Even if the first elder killed him, there was no way to reason. Thinking of this, he hurriedly said, Yes, first elder, I will leave. After that, he waved his hand and left the general's mansion with the ghost slaves behind him. He Ziwei looked at Nyotsuehua and said coldly, no matter what tricks your Ghost King sect plays, I don't have the black demon bead. Qin Haodong said, Ziwei, you misunderstood. It's me. Hearing this familiar voice, He Ziwei trembled all over and said in surprise, Haodong, is it really you? Qin Haodong waved his hand and wiped the disguise medicine off his face, revealing his true face. Of course it's me. Haodong, it's great that you're back. He Ziwei said and jumped into Qin Haodong's arms. Her eyes sparkled with tears of joy. These days, she didn't want to eat or drink. She had been worried about this man. Now he was finally back. Qin Haodong patted her on the shoulder and said, I'm leaving the kingdom of Vermilion Bird soon. What's your plan? He Ziwei said without hesitation, I don't want to stay here after you leave. Of course, I want to go with you. If you've thought it through, let's go now. It'll be too late when the kingdom of Vermilion Bird notices the movement here. If I've thought it through, I'll go with you now. He Ziwei turned around and put some commonly used items into the storage ring. She and Qin Haodong left the general's mansion and flew in the direction of the Azure Dragon Kingdom. It took almost 2 days to get to the Azure Dragon Kingdom from the royal city of Vermilion Bird, but they were not in a hurry. They stopped from time to time and played for a while when they saw good scenery. The next day, as they were walking forward, a mountain range appeared in front of them. Suddenly, Qin Haodong keenly felt a wave of energy coming from under his feet. Someone was setting up a formation. As a high-level formation master, he immediately felt that this was the unique energy wave of someone setting up a formation. Why are there people here? Let's go and take a look. Qin Haodong's curiosity was piqued. He greeted Niu Zuehua and He Ziwei, and the three of them carefully approached the direction of the energy wave. In front of them was a tall mountain peak. At the foot of the mountain was a huge cave. In front of the cave, there was a figure that was constantly moving. It was the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom. Li Mengyao, Li Tianxiong, Li Tianqua, and the others were all there. Li Tianxiong was a high-level formation master. He was directing the others to set up a formation in front of the cave. Bastards, I'm going to kill them right now. Seeing Li Mengyao and the others, Niu Zuehua was instantly enraged. She was now in the middle stage of the great vehicle realm. She didn't care about Li Tianxiong and Li Tianqua at all. Even if the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom banded together, they wouldn't be a match for her. Wait a minute. Qin Haodong pulled Niu Zuehua back and said in a low voice, "Don't be anxious. Let's see what they're doing." Logically speaking, the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom had left the Vermilion Bird Kingdom for some time. Since they were able to meet here, it meant that they had something important to do. Alright then, I'll let them live a little longer. Niu Zuehua endured it. The three of them secretly hid themselves, wanting to see what Li Mengyao and the others were up to. After more than an hour, under Li Tianxiong's command, the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom finally finished setting up the formation. These people were no longer cautious. Li Tianqua drew the long sword on his back and slashed at the cave. Suddenly, the wind and clouds surged. The huge sword Qi slashed the cave, sending rocks flying everywhere. Even the mountain behind seemed to be trembling. Roar, after the slash, two angry roars came from inside the cave. Then, two demonic beasts covered in bloody light scuttled out from inside. These two demonic beasts looked extremely similar to the bears on Earth. However, they were more than 10 times larger. They had a pair of wings on both sides of their bodies, with a wingspan of more than 20 meters. Their eyes were as red as blood, and they looked murderous. Their bodies were covered in fiery red scales like burning flames, showing their extremely strong defense. Qin Haodong didn't know much about the demonic beasts of the Lingwu continent, but Niu Zuehua recognized them. She exclaimed, "These are flaming golden-eyed beasts. Are they very powerful?" Qin Haodong asked. Very powerful. They're level 8 fire-attributed demonic beasts. If they were to fight one-on-one, these two old men from the Azure Dragon Kingdom would definitely be no match for them. Qin Haodong nodded. No wonder the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom set up the formation here. They were here for these two demonic beasts. After feeling the power of the two flaming golden-eyed beasts, the people from the Azure Dragon Kingdom quickly retreated. Do it. Li Tianxiong, Li Tianqua, and Li Mengyao each took a position. After a loud roar, the three of them simultaneously activated the formation that they had prepared. With a loud rumble, fog rose within a radius of a kilometer in front of the cave. In an instant, the two unprepared flaming golden-eyed beasts were surrounded. This is the hidden dragon formation. After the formation was activated, Qin Haodong could immediately tell that it was a trapping formation. Moreover, it was a very high-level trapping formation, the hidden dragon formation. Niu Zuehua asked in a low voice, "Husband, you know this formation. Is it very powerful?" You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.